Bam!
There we are.
We straight up went there.
Cheers.
Hello everyone. Welcome to the third edition of the Summer Stream Extravaganza 2022. Whoop! We made it.
We're still alive.
We're still live and we're still alive.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for joining us this fine summer day. It's actually a very nice summer day outside, so thank you for tuning in and staying with us for your afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Very special thanks to all the upcoming archaeology students who have joined us or who will join us throughout the stream. I am Aris Politopoulos. I will talk more about myself later. And I'm joined by Sophie and Jip.
Hi, pleased to be here.
Yes, absolutely.
So today we are going to be playing not one but two different games. We will be playing Expeditions Rome to start off, and we will be playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and we are going to be talking about the historical and archaeological context of the games, and we're also going to be talking about studying archaeology at Leiden University.
From all kinds of different angles.
Exactly. So if you have questions about the faculty, about studying at the faculty, about courses, about what each one of us does there, feel free to ask them and we can talk about them.
And if you're just excited about going to study archaeology or the games we're playing, feel free to share as well.
Exactly. So why don't we do a very brief round of introductions? So our guest, Jip.
Oh, sure. So my name is Jip Barreveld. I am a PhD here at the faculty, my fourth year currently, so getting to the end of it. I am actually not, disclaimer, I'm not a completely full-on archaeologist. I actually graduated.
You can leave then, I guess.
I will leave now, goodbye. So I actually graduated as a historian in Roman history. I specialized in my master's degree in late Roman history, so that's towards the end of the Roman period. And then I got sucked into the early Middle Ages, and now I'm doing a PhD in early medieval archaeology. That's the short version of it.
Nice.
So I moved up essentially like a century or two, and from like the Mediterranean to northern Europe. Yeah.
I mean, we will be playing a Roman game and a Viking medieval game, so there we're covering all your expertise.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very nice. Sophie.
Yes. Hi, I am Sophie. I am a sort of third year's bachelor's degree archaeology student. I decided to spread out my third year across...
Sorry, it was redeemed. It was redeemed. What can I say?
I decided to spread out my third year in archaeology across 2 academic years, so I could focus on maintaining the fun in everything I was doing. I haven't exactly specialized in anything yet, and I'm interested in a great many different subjects, although I have a slight personal preference for marine archaeology. And I've been working as a part of the project that has wrapped up at this point, but Streaming the Past, which Aris is well familiar with, methinks.
I see one question in chat already. Someone asking if I specialize in the 1400s, and the answer is no. You're about 1,000 years off. Yeah. Basically 400s to 700.
Yeah.
The Middle Ages.
It's a long period.
Lasted for quite a long time.
Quite a while. Yeah.
They were very middle. Yes, and I'm Aris Politopoulos. I am an assistant professor, or not yet. In 2 days, I will officially be an assistant professor at the Faculty of Archaeology on archaeology and cultural politics. I do all sorts of things, from the archaeology of the Near East to video games to politics and anarchism, teaching all sorts of classes at the faculty. So if you want to know anything about courses and whatnot, I can also talk about that as well. And we've been running, as Sophie said, the Streaming the Past project for the last year. That's where we are at the Streaming Past studio. So we are somewhat of pros at playing games and commenting about them. Maybe we're not that good at playing them, but we are very good at commenting about them.
You are pretty, get good level good at quite a few games, I think.
We'll see. We'll see how this goes.
I'm just wondering, this person in chat who keeps talking about 1400s, what calendar system are you using? Because that might be a different one from ours.
I could be mistaken, but
I mean, it depends.
Fairly certain that he's trolling you.
Oh,
also,
maybe
never
the
trolling.
Sid calendar, or like the.
In a way, he's not completely wrong. The end of the Roman period, you can also consider it as ending in the 1400s.
Yeah, true.
If the Byzantine Empire is
Sure.
described as a Roman Empire, which might as well be. So, without further ado, let's move into our first game, I would say, and then we can get into more archaeology-related stuff and faculty-related stuff.
Small disclaimer as we dive into the game. You may notice it as we play it, but Aris does not like this. He's only mentioned that for like 30 times.
I may or may not
hour.
like this game, yeah. So,
but there's a lot to say about it
there.
regardless.
Oh, wait a moment, I need to recapture the bloody thing, because there we go.
Oh, that is a good idea also, Dev. Doc Random, also Dev has a good idea.
Also an idea for a subscriber, but a slowly crumbling pillar might be a cool idea. Oh, nice. Boom, boom, boom.
Epic Roman music.
Epic Roman music, yeah.
Yeah.
But people cannot see it yet. But now they can see it. There we go. Let me know in the chat how is the levels of audio.
Yep.
We're gonna start a new game, by the way. So this is gonna happen. So character creation will happen as well. We're gonna go through the character creation kinda quickly. I'm just letting you know. Yeah?
It's weird. Everything's weird.
Yeah, everything is weird. Very, very low. Very, very low. That's not necessarily true.
Good to know.
No, you don't need partners for that. Oh, okay, let's see.
Oh, the longer you're subscribed, the less pillar you have.
Oh, eventually you don't have a pillar.
But then, yeah, I mean, at some point when you're a veteran
like
subscriber, you won't have anything to prove that with.
There, master volume, save. All right.
I'm already seeing one thing that I have comments about, which is the map on the table.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see a pretty sick map later on. Don't worry about it.
In the year of Lucius Licinius Lucullus, Rome was prosecuting several wars of self-defense, most notably in Greece, where Lucullus himself was commanding the legions.
Very impressive lesson.
With everyone's gaze directed at the provinces, few could have known that a seemingly inauspicious event in Rome would become the central fulcrum around which the fate of the Republic would turn. The paterfamilias of a venerable patrician house had passed away unexpectedly, and a senator by the name of Vitellius Scaevola had made a bid for the hand of his eldest child. His widow alone believed that Scaevola had poisoned her husband, and now strove to take his place and claim his property through marriage. Acting in secret, the widow arranged for her youngest child to be taken out of their villa in the dead of night and smuggled out of Rome.
We have been smuggled out of Rome. I'm gonna move the cameras just so you can see everything. Don't worry about it.
So what I wanted to say about the map is that they always put maps in strategy games, but it's a very modern concept of cartography, right? Like we're not so sure that they actually use maps that way to plan their ancient campaigns.
There weren't any daggers stabbed into it.
That's the more historical part, I reckon.
Of course.
No, that's the horrible part. That's the worst.
So, first things first. We need a name.
We had it. Unless anyone in chat has a brilliant suggestion, we had a name, right?
We had a name. Yeah. Our idea for a name was Steinus. Because
we're very funny.
We're very funny. Because the archaeology building in Leiden is called Van Steinus.
Who didn't know.
So we're gonna be called Steinus. Unless people in the chat are really opposed to this brilliant idea, if I may say so myself. We can also choose a family name, which we don't get to customize, but it's just one of many.
Let's go with Tarquinius.
Oh, you don't want Furious?
Nah, Tarquinius, because that's one of the Etruscan kings, right? Tarquinius Superbus?
Yeah.
I think he's fun. Let's go.
We're not doing that also. I'm sorry. We're
No, I see where you're going there. We're not doing that.
We can also have a nickname. And it's one interesting thing, already I know because I've played this game before, if you pick a female character instead of a male character, you don't get to have a nickname.
What?
Because apparently women were not given first names.
What?
Which I have questions about this.
Huh?
Oh, that's new to me as well. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Corinne, last time we played it, said that this was somewhat the case, but it's not. Yeah, it's a little bit unclear. But you do get a nickname as a woman. But we're playing as a guy in this part for reason that will be explained later.
Oh, can I, for the Monty Python fans out there who have seen Life of Brian, which is what also Dev is referring to, the scene with Biggest Dickus, the soldiers that weren't allowed to laugh were actually background actors whose only direction for that entire scene was don't laugh or you won't get paid. So they didn't know what they were in for.
Yeah, for real.
so their acting is very genuine.
That's a very evil job.
Also, Dev is saying, when I worked as a Roman soldier, it was the most quoted movie on the job. How do you get to work as a Roman soldier? So, nickname. Do we have a specific nickname?
Do you have any suggestions for a
there we
nickname?
go.
Any favorite
How
Roman
about
nicknames?
how about Archeos?
Okay,
Very Greek of you.
But we're archaeologists.
Yeah.
Get it?
Sure.
We are primarily very funny.
Archeus Tarquinius.
Archeos.
Oh, you worked at the Archeon. That's cool.
Nice.
Okay, to pick a portrait.
We have to pick a portrait, and the thing with the portrait is that it doesn't matter how our character looks. The portrait is irrelevant.
Just there to look pretty.
This one? All right.
That's a bit martial, isn't it? It's fine.
It's fine. Face.
He's got a bit of a baby face, though.
It's
Very
fine.
stern.
The face options are generally character creation in this game is kind of limiting, so we're gonna go through it a bit quickly, and we're gonna go for not this one, probably this one or this one. There's a little bit mud here, so that's
How about
fine.
the second?
Second one, okay.
Yeah, because it's a bit of it's more
He's a bit sad.
forlorn look, like the young chap in the bottom left has.
That's always a thing, trying to match the actual face with the portrait.
This is what we're trying to do, kind of, and I think this haircut is kind of the thing.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's-
It looks better than the first option.
Yeah,
anyways.
and the hair is black, I believe, not that
It's
brown.
a very dark brown, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, you think so?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna be average body type, because you can be a giant, or you can be very short. That will be average, I guess, because we're kind of average.
Compared to the columns behind us, we're already
Yeah,
pretty
pretty
friggin'
flipping tall.
huge.
Yeah.
Does look pretty tall.
I see a lot of people joining in. Welcome
Oh,
everyone to the Summer
awesome,
Stream
yeah.
Extravaganza.
Great to have you here.
Great to have
Good
you
to
here.
see you.
And if you have questions about studying archaeology at Leiden, please let us know.
We have a student, we have a newly promoted assistant professor, and we have
PhD
a deserter from history.
That's right.
Yes, archaeologists are basically
I was
deserters from
bribed,
history.
okay?
Clearly,
Kidnapped.
clearly.
I got a contract, so they paid me off.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
Okay.
So, this game, for those who don't know, we're playing Expeditions Rome, which is a role-playing game set in the Roman period.
Kind of like Baldur's Gate, except with Romans and Greek
Yeah,
folks.
and no beholders. So, you get to have... There's a lot of combat, there's a lot of dialogue, and basically in this game, you get to choose your rhetorical style. You get to customize a lot of things, and one of them is your rhetorical style. So, the kind of answers you can give. And they fall under three general categories of ethos, logos, and pathos, with ethos being like authority, and logos being sort of logical argumentation, and pathos being more emotional manipulation.
It's kind of about morale,
Yeah,
reason, and emotion.
kinda, yeah, exactly. Very apt description, I would say. Let's go for logos, because we're very logical.
Yes, arcane mages that tell the past by peering at ceramic shirts. Or livers. I legit did some haruspexing in high school. Yes, my Greek teacher went out, bought like 3 livers. And then we spent an hour looking at livers and pretending.
that's amazing, though.
Yeah, that was
bit gross.
It was very special. It was apparently an infamous day for the whole school because you could smell it throughout the whole school. Was cool. He was an amazing teacher.
Did you learn anything there?
Oh, I know everything that's bound to happen in the coming 3 decades.
Impressive,
in detail.
Impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah.
As you can see, very useful art.
Did you hear me, Domine?
Ah, there we
Your
go.
body is surely
We're playing
present,
in
but
normal
your
because
mind
I'm not that
seems
good.
somewhere else.
Our body is surely present, but our minds somewhere else. Yeah, well,
No questions.
I guess I'm still thinking about what happened. We had like our father murdered. So
Did we?
yeah, that was a whole opening cutscene.
Our departure was very sudden, I know.
Right.
But do not dwell on the past. Better to focus on what's coming at you.
Yes.
I
it
asked the
was.
Triarchus how close we are to Lesbos, but he would not give me a straight answer.
So we're going to Lesbos, island of Greece in the northeastern Aegean. I have a lot of things to say about Lesbos because I've done actually a survey there.
I've been there, but not for a survey.
Yeah, it's a very pretty island.
I went diving there.
Did you like it?
Yes, there is actually a lot of archaeological material just out there to see
I know.
on the sea floor.
And it has not been excavated ever, so
No.
there's a lot of research potential actually at Lesbos.
Mm-hmm.
Asked the Triarchus how close we are to Lesbos, but he would not give me a straight answer.
No Roman games without a bit of patricide, absolutely.
Indeed.
No Roman history
In his
without a
defense,
bit
there
of
are many
patricide.
islands on this sea,
Yeah.
and they mostly look the
They
same.
really do not look
Will
the same.
you check with the Triarchus?
We'll
Hopefully
check
he will
with
give
Triarchus.
you a clearer answer. He told me his name is Geminus.
We don't know the name of the guy who runs our ship. I have
We don't?
questions.
Oh, that's okay.
What do you think of the armor that we are wearing?
It's
I'm very curious about what's he having, what he's having on his the medallions he's wearing.
Yeah.
You know anything about that, Aris?
I don't really know. Like, I guess depending on how high you were in the rank, you could be wearing such medallions.
and
This
it feels. I mean, this looks like
This one's
Mostly-
Alexander the Great. And
Yeah.
you can tell that it's Alexander the Great because he also has horns over here above his ears, which is a characteristic of depictions of Alexander the Great.
Could not see that from here.
Yes, I'm a bit closer to the screen. Maybe people in the chat also can't see it, but in coins, like Hellenistic coins that we see Alexander the Great, you can see that. And I also know that because back when there were drachma still in Greece before Euro, the 100 drachma coin had Alexander the Great on it, and it had that exact profile.
What I do wonder is, although I'm assuming that this armor is meant to look like it's mostly for show, those huge, almost torque-like rings he's wearing from like a scarf or something would be
Yeah.
hugely impractical during battle. So
I was looking at that as well. Like that
yeah,
doesn't
like you
look
could
very,
grab that and you could just go,
Yeah, just straight up choke him, right?
yeah, or just drag him onto
Yeah.
your sword. So I'm
If
not sure
nothing
where they
else,
got their
you do have a
inspiration
way of
from. For
making
that.
Looks very
unreasonable
ceremonial,
people
I
see
It does.
I
look
guess, yeah.
You should also go and thank Quintus Aquilinus.
Why the horns?
I
It has
do
to do
believe
with
he
like
saved our lives
the way that
this
Alexander,
timely
like the more
appearance at
mythical
dinner.
understanding of Alexander in Hellenistic Greece, and even in Hellenistic Greece, Alexander had gained this almost mythical stature, and this was largely thanks to his own or his people's propaganda. There is a whole epic about Alexander, and it says all sorts of stuff there that are, of course, not real, but basically they really wanted to make Alexander being sort of a mythical figure already then and there. There are so few
Your
passengers
mother
on
paid
this galley.
Geminus handsomely to set off in great
So
haste.
Geminus
under
is the
cover
one who
of
took
night.
us out of the whole
Two
shebang.
others did board with us, also bound for Lesbos.
Okay.
Young Gaius has been pacing impatiently over there, wearing grooves into the deck. There was a gladiator too,
Ah, yes.
but I don't know where he went.
All right, let's go talk to people and let's keep some dialogue.
Also, Dev, clearly you haven't watched The Incredibles then. He says that cloaks are very good to keep
You
warm
found
and look
your
cool
sea
with.
legs quickly, Domine.
So here is our beautiful ship that is taking us to Greece. And this is our good
I
friend
handle the sea better than most. I'm glad.
Kesson.
Okay,
Or-
so also Dev says that the torque-like ornaments are probably weights to keep
Yeah,
the
they
cloak
are
in place and wouldn't
indeed.
be worn during combat, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
We might
Uh,
come up with something a little smaller, don't you think?
I mean, he's wearing something smaller. This is also tied to his breastplate, I guess.
It looks like it.
It looks like, and then it's also.
Yeah, you could just use a fibula. That would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
I think they're meant to be for the fibula, don't you? Yeah.
I guess you can also I don't think he's wearing them necessarily properly because you can also put them into each other. That's why.
But I agree with you. They look like talks, and you don't expect them on a Roman legion.
The timing was fortunate, but there is no need to thank me. The consul sent me to get you.
Excellent.
Please, call me Kaiser, if it's not too familiar.
Not
My subordinates call me Centurio. My superiors call me Equilinus. My friends call me Kaiser.
We'll just go with
bro.
Skippy.
He's a bro. You will go with what? Skippy. Can we go over the plan?
She did not keep you apprised.
No.
Your mother has
I know
secretly
the
been
talks
making
on
arrangements
fibulae.
with the consul. You are to join his command staff as tribunus.
Okay. Do we know what is tribunus?
I do. Do people in chat know?
That's going to be an exam question.
Tell us, Sophie, what is a tribunus?
Aren't we asking the chat? There's no.
You can wait for a moment or two.
Oh, again, people. By the way, if you've got questions about the game, archaeology, history,
or anything,
your coming bachelor's activities, let us know, and we'll see if we can answer them.
Exactly. All right. Are we gonna ask Kaiser what's our duties?
Sure.
Yes.
You'll have very little responsibility. You assist the legatus while they learn how to command a military organization. You'll not see combat, nor will you make any important decisions. You'll be safe, as your mother wanted.
Well.
Basically, it's interesting because we've played this game before with a female character, and then you're basically told the same, but then you're being told, oh, you will be a tribunus because you're a woman and you should not be fighting in the combat, which is a bit cringy, but I guess here it doesn't matter that we are men.
I think a woman fighting would be more historical than a woman becoming a tribunus.
I mean, so initially we would have been joined also by
Martin
Jessepot, who couldn't be here unfortunately for personal reasons, but Martin Jessepot is two things. He is the PR advisor of the Faculty of Archaeology, so whatever you see on the website, whatever you see on social media, reports and whatnot, they are all run by Martin Jessepot. But he's also an expert in all things Roman history. And we had a very brief chat before because he couldn't join us. And he said that it's not unlikely that women could become tribunus or just generally enter higher level of politics, which is something that you can in fact do in this game. So in that sense, it works. Mm-hmm. But there are some other cringy moments when you're playing as a woman in this game.
I think it's mostly the extent to which it gets repeated. Like even, as you said yourself, when it gets to the point where you've killed more people than the whole Roman army combined, they still tell you shouldn't be here. You're a woman. You can't fight.
I'm just thinking about I'm really curious now about Martin Jesse's story because I can't recall a single woman from like an inscription or literary text serving in the army. But he must obviously know examples that I don't.
If Martin Jesse says so, I will believe him.
Yeah, sure.
Yip, can you lower the boom of your microphone a little bit because people can't see you? You just lower it from here. Yeah, exactly, and then build it up so we can see your face.
It still has to talk in. Is this clear?
Yeah.
If you
great.
Move it, or move it away a little bit so you have a straight line.
That's great.
I'm sure the consul will find use for you. You seem to have a good head on your shoulders. You'll get the hang of things quickly.
We do have a good head on our shoulders, thank you very much.
I know Lucullus is a friend of your family, but remember, he is the consul, elected by the people to rule all of Rome.
Wow.
It's best if you don't act too familiar with him in front of his men.
Okay.
What year was this supposed to take place in again?
I had checked it before exactly because Lucullus is indeed a historical figure in Roman history. So this is like 2nd to 1st century BC. I guess more towards the 1st century BC.
Yeah, we just salted Carthage essentially.
We just what?
Salted Carthage. Put some salt on the...
Yeah.
Wasn't that a myth, by the way, that they actually put salt into the soil after they plowed it?
I hope not, because it makes for a good story.
It makes for a very good story. I mean, and in that sense, I'm happy to.
It's also something.
It.
It's a legit tactic that you can do. It's similar to burning fields, basically. But we are in somewhere in the Mithridatic Wars, anyway, which is in the beginning, the first 20 years of the first century BC. Let's skip some dialogue because I want to see combat, and there are a lot of things we can see in this game, so we're just gonna straight up go. One thing that annoys me is that we walk painfully slowly in this game.
I was about to say
that, it's like camera controls and everything is all a bit slow. Big wonky. Geminus.
Salve, game.
Salve. Salve is basically, well, hi.
Greetings.
Hi. Greetings.
Hi. Yeah, sure.
It's kind of a more informal way of saying hi. It's not like Ave.
If you say it to multiple people, it becomes salvete.
There we go.
I remember stuff from high school. Oh, Doc Random confirmed it is a myth. So I read some arguments once about how it would be very odd for them to salt the earth from Carthage because it was in such a tactically important and also fertile region. So they would, I mean, obviously it is a very good like scare tactic, but it would also cripple a very important node in their trade networks.
Yeah. One interesting thing here is that he's holding this helmet that has an octopus on it.
Oh, yeah.
Which the helmet itself looks kind of fine for a Roman helmet.
Yeah, I've never seen anything with an octopus.
But I've also never seen one with an octopus. So I don't know where they got this from. Maybe because he's.
It looks cool.
Maybe because he's like a triarchus and he runs a ship. That's why he has.
He needs to have a special helmet.
Yeah. So I honestly don't know. I've never seen one like this. But otherwise, the helmet is pretty well done.
I'm going to look it up. Helmet.
You can look it up.
Roman octopus.
The wind has changed. Has been rather still today, hasn't it? I've noticed the oars have been out since early in the morning. Is that what's causing our delay?
You're right. The rowers are getting tired.
Okay, so there aren't any Roman helmets with octopuses on there, but there are Japanese helmets.
We're
from the
definitely
18th
not in
century.
Japan.
There are some samurai helmets with octopus. It looks very cool. You know what? I'll just.
They're headed straight towards us.
Oh
no!
no!
Get your father's weapons.
There you go. Have yourself.
Let's see if you can actually fight.
Oh damn! We're being attacked by guess what? The Greeks.
You can tell from the blue flag.
The blue-white flag with the helmet. Yeah.
I have so many questions.
Are you all right? I'm fine, Kenturio.
Yeah, I know.
For the player's convenience, all the Greeks are dressed in blue.
Yeah, and the Romans are dressed in red, so we know.
But areas under Roman control are colored blue, and areas under Greek control are colored red, just to keep you sharp.
It's hella confusing, actually.
That's a funny thing, right? Like how Romans are always depicted in red.
Right.
In films and video games. Like, there's no real historical basis for that, as far as I know.
I think it's probably has something to do with color theory, right? Because red is a very aggressive,
yeah, it's very aggressive. So it suits
dominant color and
a modern idea of what Rome is. Yeah.
Hey, let's
and
go.
it contrasts very nicely with blue, which is probably because Athens had a lot of blue.
Yeah, but like also it kind of helps that the Greek flag is blue and white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what is the blueness of Athens based on. You know, is that?
I'm also not 100% certain what it's based on. Honestly,
I think most things are 90% modern stereotype.
Yeah. This is going very well, actually. Surprisingly well. We can only punch this guy. That's fine. Get punched. He cannot shoot again, but he can move up.
Also, don't worry if you're shy. You are by no means obliged to join in the chat. But if you're new here to the channel, if you're a student or an aspiring student for archaeology, let us know you're here.
Yeah. And if you're just joining us generally for the first time, welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks for joining in. Cool to have you here. Whee! Oh no!
Damage. So this is basically the tutorial battle of this game. So we're headed to Lesbos.
Except psych, the tutorial takes 5 hours.
Yeah. Gladiator.
Greeks attack us.
Gladiator, come.
For some reason.
Bam. Superhero entrance.
Underestimate the value of an impressive entrance.
Sure.
Sure, yeah, okay, my guy. Alright. So basically what we're gonna do here is just gonna slash.
Okay, so according to Archaeomancer, the sword model is a bit off. It is kind of 6th century BC.
Archaeomancer is here. That is excellent news because he can tell us everything about weaponry.
Oh boy.
He can tell us all the things we need to know about weapons. That is amazing news. Welcome, Archaeomancer. Okay, let's try to kill this guy because he is actually the strongest one of the
That's
enemies.
going to be painful for AC Valhalla then, with Archaeomancer there.
If we move anywhere else, he gets an attack of opportunity, which is not very nice.
So the combat system is fairly reminiscent of Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, in many ways.
Is it more Baldur's Gate or more like XCOM or something?
It does have also definitely XCOM elements for sure, yeah.
Because Baldur's Gate is like real time, right? You have to pause it whenever you want to.
Yeah.
Oh, hey Cosmic on the internet. Long time no see. And thank you for joining in so early in your morning.
Cannot say much, but I can try. Hey Cosmic. Let's get some trumpets for the people in the chat. Yeah, let's go. Welcome everyone. So if you don't know, which people probably don't know, Archaeomancer is also a PhD researcher at Leiden University.
What?
Yeah.
Cool.
He is studying swords. He's doing an extremely interesting research.
Yeah, that's a familiar feeling, Doc Random.
Let's...
Baldur's Gate becoming stop motion gaming virtually.
Spacebar, 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 spacebar.
Yeah.
That's called micromanaging, Doc Random, and it's not healthy.
One left.
Let's go.
Disappointing.
We've been just destroying these guys. Who else has an attack? Basically everyone.
That hit was worthy of the arena.
You can't move very far.
Well.
You can move very far.
Love the scent of fresh blood in the morning. Do you now?
Bam, let's go. We did it without losing anyone.
Yay! Oh, and they're not even injured.
That is, so I think that's a bug in the game because every combat we've ever done in this game, even when people die, it always ends with uninjured, which I honestly don't know what's the deal with it.
I mean, if they're dead, are they injured? Or are they
They are not
just
uninjured.
dead?
Back to Neptune's asshole.
And we did take damage, so we're definitely not uninjured.
Hello, Quarrens. You're new here. Are you just generally new here? Or are you coming over from archaeology?
This traitor must be working with them.
Oh, Bestia thinks our Triarchus was actually... What do we think? Did our Triarchus betray us? Or do we think that it was accidental that we ran into pirates?
It's fine. It's Mediterranean. There's pirates everywhere, right?
Don't be naive.
Right?
Okay. I mean,
This
there
was
are.
no
Yeah.
random attack. They were out for blood.
It is quite unusual for pirates to attack any ship, let alone a heavily armed Roman galley.
We
They
are not
prefer
exactly
to attack
heavily
lightly
guarded
defended
or
coastal
heavily
towns
armed.
instead. It's less risky and more profitable.
Well,
Look at him, this man reasoning.
let's go talk to the man.
Alright, let's talk to the man.
Armed with plot armor.
Yeah. Yeah, here you are.
Geminos,
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
you steered us into a trap.
He's
What do
going
you
to
have to
kill
say?
him.
Hey, Partisanin is also here.
Nothing
Welcome,
to do with it, I
Partisanin.
promise. They came out of nowhere.
Silence! You utter nonsense!
Ooh,
By
that's so
Mars,
nice, Quark.
It is the sea! How can anyone?
That is kinda true. Also,
cannot execute
Mars
a man based
is
on no
the Roman
evidence.
name for
Besides,
Greek god
we
Aris,
need
which
our
is
Triarchus
my
to make
name.
it safely ashore.
What do you say, kid? What do you think we should do?
I'm really new and I've been accepted at archaeology. Well, that's excellent news. Welcome both to the stream and to the faculty.
You're in the right place.
You're in the right place, at the right time. If you have questions about archaeology, let us know.
Or about the game, or about Roman history, or...
So, what do we say? Do we think he's a traitor?
How about we ask a question?
Why do you want him dead, Gladiator?
We are close to our destination, and we can reach it without him. If there is a possibility that he is working with the enemy,
that is
we cannot
absolute
risk
nonsense.
to let him live. Mercy,
Dude,
doubt, hesitation. These are all openings that the enemy can exploit to kill you.
what's he gonna do surrounded
This
by a
man's
bunch of
value
dudes
to
that
us
don't trust him?
Far less than the threat he may pose.
He could have important information. This is nonsense.
I don't think... Do we want to keep asking, or do we just want to spare his life? Because I get the sense that you don't want to kill him. You don't believe that he's a traitor.
I think he's more useful with, alive.
Yeah?
That's
sure.
People want to spare him? People want to spare him?
What does chat think?
Chat, do you want to spare him?
So far, Chet thinks nothing.
We did have a pretty bloodthirsty chat, didn't we?
We had what?
A bloodthirsty chat.
We did have, from time to time we did get...
But we've already shed so much blood.
Let's ask another question.
Many of us
Doc Random
important people
says
Spare,
spare.
on our
says
way
Doc
to join
Random.
the action against Lesbos. Is it not
Spare, says
conceivable that the
Umzer.
rebels heard of us? The Kingdom of Pontus is known to sponsor pirates, to harass and weaken Rome.
He slisses.
I do not believe we have any reason to suspect our Triarchus of colluding with them.
Alright, okay, well, I guess we spare.
Let's go.
I guess we spare. Alright,
People have
what's done is
spoken.
done. There's nothing to gain from
Very
executing
well.
the Triarchus.
We should spare his life. But remember, mercy is a luxury.
Yes,
This
yes,
is not
yes.
mercy. This is a calculated risk so that we may use him in the future. Shut up. Sorry.
Damn.
Not
Sophie
that
going
you
at
could
it.
write your own replies right in
Perhaps.
these games.
A wise choice, my friend.
Okay, guys.
Killing the Triarchus of our
guys.
ship in the middle of the sea would have
Game
been
approves of our choice, clearly.
inconvenient.
There's a little bit of...
Indeed.
There's a lot of exposition happening in the
If you ever
dialogue of
again
this
need the
game.
help of a skilled navigator, I am at your service.
Rowers,
Yeah.
See, there you
Up the
go. We made
tempo.
a friend.
and keep your eyes open.
Hey, can we keep him?
I think we can keep him. Alright. These models here are also... Look at this guy. He's just chilling there, checking if his sword is pointy.
They all look so buff.
So now we get to pick the class of our character,
Very nice.
which can be a princeps, heavy armor, basically a tank. Most straightforward class to play. It can be a Veles, which is basically a fighter, or an assassin. A Sagittarius, which is an archer, or a Triarius, which is basically a healer.
Yeah, I figured that from the symbol they used.
Right? It's kind of telling. A little bit
Are
telling.
we before or after the Marian reforms?
Before or what?
Before or after the Marian reforms, the reforms of the Roman army into this, what they went to single legionary, not legionary line, but one class of legionary.
I don't know.
The Triarius is from the old days when they still had like the Hastati on the front line.
Mm-hmm.
And tried to come up with the middle line. I think they had Principes, and then the Triarii in the back, they were like the veterans, with the long spears. That would like come in the last fray of the battle.
Can we
swing the luck?
I guess that makes a lot of sense because Triarius does have the spear here as well, right?
Can we play as the fighter rogue hybrid?
We can. Then, do we want to be like an assassin? Do we want to be like a duelist or like a brawler?
How about a duelist?
We get the active skill C, which is actually pretty nice skill to have.
Oh, that is nice.
Yeah,
That is
it
nice.
Free dual wielding, if I'm reading it right.
Yeah. All right, we confirm and we move on to Lesbos. I don't know what this guy is, but it's... I would call this a mildly racist drawing or model.
First century BC.
First century BC, as we said, we're headed to Asia Minor. Actually, not Asia Minor. Well, Act 1 is called Asia Minor because we're fighting indeed in the Mithridatic Wars, which took place in Asia Minor, but we currently are in Lesbos, which is still an island in the Aegean and not part of Asia Minor.
Wondering if maybe it becomes part of the province of Asia.
That could be, yeah. I don't know how big the province was and if it included the islands or not.
More like, with an infinite food supply thanks to the strength of their fleet.
We shall find a way to limit this infinite supply then.
Exposition.
Like an imperator, Gaius. All right, people. This is Lucullus's war camp, the heart of our operations in this territory. Your consul waits in the command tent. Don't be too late if you don't want to see him angry.
Sure. Well, let's have a good look at this camp, because it's actually a pretty nice camp. So as you can see, it's a Roman camp. It's made out of wood, which is actually pretty accurate for this kind of camps.
But it's not completely square, is it?
It's we can't see the edges of it.
It's really it's
giant.
humongous, so you can't see the edges. You can only see the front.
Okay, I guess it's pretty square.
It is pretty square. It should be like you really can't see the edges of it.
But we don't have a grid. I expect a grid. Maybe not.
So you can't see a grid if we scroll all the way back. See, you have the tents in the back, and they are in a sort of grid-like setup against squares.
Also,
and it has the grid roads. Yeah,
I mentioned this before.
I'm convinced.
And I'm mostly pointing it out because I wrote my final project for high school on Greek color theory. But whomever leads this camp has very expensive tastes in pigment.
Right.
Very expensive.
Good eye.
Could you elaborate on that?
It's sort of reddish, but mostly purple. And purple, the main source for purple was from a type of sea snail. Its shell, it was rare, it was a lot of work to extract, so the pigment is very, very expensive, very luxurious and very exclusive. So to paint all the shields and the banners and the tents in that color is, well...
It's also why eventually it became a restricted color, right? Which only,
to nobility.
To the imperial family at some point,
Also, interestingly enough, we know already from the late Bronze Age texts, we know that in Lesbos in particular, they had purple dyers. So we know from Hittite sources...
Sense, I guess it's accurate then.
So maybe because it's Lesbos, they have purple.
Yeah, they have definitely more access to it.
Or maybe it's like a sponsorship, you know, the purple dyers supplied the army with nicely purple stuff.
I'm also seeing purple shields, I think.
Purple that's why, especially, like, the tent is a lot of fabric to dye, but I can sort of understand. But all the shields dyed in purple.
The banners, maybe, that could be.
But yeah, so we know already from the Hittite sources from like 1300 BC that Lesbos was one of the main places where you could find purple dye.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
So that's one interesting thing. You can see that outside of the walls there is kind of one of these empty moats. That's also relatively characteristic. We also have a Roman fort here in Leiden, in fact, in Leiderdorp, which you can go and, well, you can't really see it.
No, I think it's actually within Leiden municipality.
Is it?
Yes.
I thought it was within...
But it's close to Leiden.
Doc Random can tell us, can confirm.
I think I've been there, actually. Like a first year's...
Doc Random says, no!
Oh, no. Is it traumatic?
I think it's it is in Leiden.
No,
okay, it's Leiden.
There we go.
But Fort Mattilo is what you're talking
Fort Mattilo is what I'm talking about, indeed.
That's a funny story, actually, that in the 17th century, scholars from the Leiden area, they thought that you have this ancient Roman map, right, that had a lot of place names, also from the Netherlands. And on there you find a place called Lugdunum, near the sea. They thought Lugdunum was Leiden, because it sounds very similar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it turned out a few centuries later that now we know that Lugdunum is actually not Leiden. It's probably Katwijk, on the sea, and then Leiden is Mattilo and not So
that's very interesting.
Don't tell the university board that our motto university is wrong, because they have Academia Lugdunum Batavorum.
That is very true. Yeah. That is very true.
Also, Rolfrius, I hear your point, I feel your point, and obviously aesthetics take precedence over economics. So,
what do we think of? They have these interesting catapults here. I know very little about Roman siege engines, to be honest, so I don't know if that's the way that Roman siege engines would work.
They look a little fancy.
They look a little
fantasy.
medievalish to me. I don't know. Yep, what do you think about this?
Also, not the right person to ask about siege warfare. I'm so sorry.
If Archaeomancer is still in the chat.
Siege.
But there are a lot of elements, like detailed elements to this. Like you have this metal
could well be
reinforcement.
They had
of
to,
the catapult.
so the spoon thing is too big but
It is
accurate.
Yeah.
And
there are definitely elements of this that are like the heavy weight in the back that's made out of like a barrel filled with stones, right? To create this heavy weight thing.
I can share the image in chat
sure.
that this is based on.
Other stuff.
It's interesting that it sort of has this crossbow look to it with the...
yeah, that is what I am only unsure of.
Because the rest looks pretty okay, you know, like
Yeah.
it's not too big, like medieval trebuchets are enormous.
Exactly.
The size is about right.
Yeah, I think the bow element at the front is wrong.
Yeah.
It should be curved the other way and with a second curve. Oh well, it's fine. They tried.
But one thing that's interesting in this camp, and I think it's one of the better designs, that there are all sorts of things happening. Like it's not a very static camp, it's a pretty alive camp. You can see people doing their little chores. This guy over here repairing his own shield, right? It's not a static thing. We see a saw here for the construction.
There's a little marketplace.
This place I really like. It's like nobody's eating, which is a pity. Nobody's paying attention to this.
Oh yeah, no one is keeping the food safe, which is
I mean, I'm sure there would be all sorts of dogs and cats running around as well. But you have stuff on the tables, and you even have some archaeology in the making with some broken pots over here.
And the bread, the famous bread.
Okay, we recognize the pottery shards though.
Yeah. Tell us why this bread is famous.
Because of Pompeii.
Exactly. This is the kind of bread that was found in Pompeii. Archaeomancer says nobody's getting whipped 4 out of 10. There is a prison over here, but there are no prisoners.
There is no PG-13 torture happening, so it's it doesn't make no.
This guy is just chilling really hard over here.
He also looks like he's been skinned.
Yeah, kinda.
Or sunburned into oblivion,
yeah.
But
there are some. These guys are just eating and chilling.
But yeah, I'm looking for camp followers and the women, the pets, the cats, the dogs, as you said.
Yeah.
Slaves maybe that help transport.
Well, there are women around.
There are women. There is oftentimes, so because it's a very dynamic environment, you often see people doing little chores here, mostly women fixing the towels. I don't know about these pools and the way that they are lined up with this perfect cobblestone.
It looks very American.
Yeah.
Neo-Roman villa.
The idea is good that they have it there, but the construction, the execution of it's a bit meh. Nice baskets, towels, all white towels.
That's a lot of urine.
There's some more archaeology here. There is indeed. I don't think they would be eating so much meat. It's kind of expensive and difficult. And why would you just prepare whole animals for just a random day? Usually these kind of things would be saved for feasts.
Well, maybe it is a feast.
Maybe it is a feast. There are a lot of things. Is this meandric decoration in a lot of places, which is, I guess, it's a typical Greek type of decoration.
Yeah, well, we are on Lesbos.
Yeah, but it's also pretty... I understand from a design point of view that they kind of had to make this happen, but it's also too repetitive, and I mean, it's not everywhere that you see meandric decorations.
I think to the right there were a bunch of pots on a cart that had different decorations.
They don't have decorations.
No. Further to the right of the entrance.
Further
I think we
to the
found
right
it.
of the entrance.
Here. Yeah, there.
But they are also
those
the
are
same.
Also, never mind. Well, some of them have a wavy pattern.
Yeah.
See?
It is
or
true.
Zigzag, actually.
One thing that doesn't make much sense, sorry for being slightly pedantic, is that archaeology students pay attention. When you have this type of vessels, which are described as closed vessels. Why? Because the mouth is smaller than the body. So when the diameter of the mouth of a pot is smaller than the diameter of the body, it is called a closed vessel. In closed vessels, we don't get decoration on the inside because there is no point for it, because nobody can see it. So you only get decoration in open pots, like in plates or in bowls or in kilix, in like drinking vessels, right? So, I mean, here the case is that it's just how the model works. But normally these kind of storage vessels, they shouldn't have any decoration on the inside. They should just be plain on the inside, or just monochromatic anyway.
I think we're not supposed to look that closely at the game, right? Like,
I'm sorry. It's literally my job.
But it's a good point, though. I like it. Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
Apparently, there is a para-archaeological theory that Atlantis was in Zeeland. Come again?
That is developing. It's
or
going
Troy
out of
was
control.
in Zeeland?
Troy was in Zeeland. Please
what?
No. I mean, I like Zeeland, but okay.
This is not going to
look
work
at this map,
as long as
by the way.
rebels keep receiving supplies by sea.
Talking about maps.
There we have the map with the dagger.
But it's not in there, which is a bad thing.
But the map is still a problem, right? It's very much derived from modern wargaming and modern 19th and 20th century
and
warfare.
like the damaged edges and how like you wouldn't do that.
It's like you gotta wonder if they actually navigated using a top-down map like that, or if they used just their way of visualizing rather in straight lines past landmarks. Like first you go left after that mountain, and then you go straight to that valley.
Yeah, exactly.
That is questionable, but also how they treat maps usually in games is very, very ahistorical, because maps are extremely valuable and important, so you wouldn't go around stabbing it with daggers to make your argument, more convincing.
That's the thing with the maps that we often do find. They're very often symbolical, right? They're not meant for practical usage so much as they are to display the greatness of Rome or the city of Rome or stuff like that. They're not necessarily practical objects very often, as we are used to maps being.
But it does look. I mean, I get why they would do it
from a I mean, it's recognizable, right? It's the entirety of the Mediterranean. You see the Roman
war room,
Empire.
and a war room needs a map. Yeah,
obviously,
exactly. And a nice library with papyri.
It's a very accurate map, also.
It is. It's not very possible that they would have been able to produce such an accurate map.
No.
It's highly unlikely.
I do think it's funny that mainland Greece and Italy are connected by land.
They are not.
It looks like it
gap.
from here.
No. It has a gap. It's a bit darker because the sea is. Yeah, whatever.
In
it
that
does
case,
make sense.
my prescription is just not up to date.
Jupiter, you sure
so we're talking to Lucullus, the important guy.
This is the promising young man I was telling you about, Thermus.
Quite unassuming. But
We are unassuming.
I guess. Prime material for the speculatores, if he can prove himself.
What are the
A special cohort assembled for particularly daring undertakings.
So
soon enough, you shall see the kind
Navy
of thing
SEALs,
they are
basically.
tasked to carry out.
They all look very deeply generic white Roman.
They are very deeply. They all have like similar haircuts and everything.
No, but even like their facial structure is just every Roman played by a Hollywood actor ever.
Yeah, it's a very stereotypical game. What are we answering? What's our attitude gonna be?
Sassy.
Sassy? I don't have to
I don't
prove
know if
myself.
there's an option to be sassy.
Yeah,
but
I don't have to prove myself
there
to
we go.
anyone.
Yeah, I agree.
Hold on, I thought my role was supposed to be largely administrative. We can also bug out.
We have all these medallions in our armor. We need to prove that we have.
And look at this guy. He looks like a stalwart, noble young warrior. I'm sure he...
Strapping young lad.
Absolutely, yeah. Just a mighty fine chap.
Or just tell me what needs to be done. Are we sassy in that way?
But there's a grumpy sassy and there's a rebellious sassy, and I think
I don't have to prove myself to anyone.
Misplaced confidence can be as dangerous as incompetence.
Wow.
A trial by fire is what you need. Now,
damn.
pay attention.
Okay.
We've been in a deadlock here on Lesbos for some time now.
It's like you are in some
Vital
kind of
Consul,
issue, my friend.
Marcus Aurelius Cotta is engaged against King Mithridates.
Hey, here,
of
as we said,
Pontus
in the Mithridatic
east.
Wars.
Mithridates is using the pirates of Lesbos as his navy.
The
But here
fortress
they're
of
messing up the name
Mytilene here
completely.
is well protected.
but it also has a weakness. There's a mountain pass we can utilize. I will lead the assault myself.
Damn,
I volunteer for the vanguard. If my uncle can defeat
What
Pontus,
are we gonna
I can
do?
surely handle Mutilene.
Also, it's not Mutilene, it's
Meanwhile,
Mytilene.
you will prove yourself as a leader, my young ward. Take Caeso Quinctius Acolinus, your Servus Cineros, and that
feel like I'm having a stroke.
You, you will meet up with Iulius Calidus of my legion Speculatoris. Your mission is to sneak into the harbor and destroy the enemy ships any way you can.
It's a random
I expect
part where
you
they
have questions.
pronounce some words accurately and then others
Not, yeah.
It's the Assassin's Creed way.
Yeah, I have to say that they try harder with the Latin names because it's a different language, but with the Greek names, they just use the English version of the Greek names. So they could have...
But it didn't say
Yeah, but it should be Mytilene, not Mytilene.
Yeah, Mutilene.
Mytilene,
Yes.
it's Mytilene.
I think the way I learned it for classical Greece would be like Mytilene or something like that, but that's going to be a
that's
whole...
how we would have
Erasmian pronunciation is not necessarily... It's very interesting because the kind of pronunciation that like Dutch people learn in gymnasium, which is the Erasmian pronunciation, is definitely not the way that we speak in Greek. And it's just an interpretation of how ancient Greek would have been pronounced. But if you say it to a Greek person, it sounds nothing like Greek.
It's also why I can read Greek. I can even understand most of the grammar. But if you were to ask me to join in on a conversation,
no, yeah. Also, modern Greek is very different from ancient Greek in many ways. But regardless, Mytilene is the city, of course, and Lesbos is the island. And nowadays we also use Mytilene in Greek for the name of the entire island sometimes, but technically Mytilene is the city, the main
Glad
city.
to see some Erasmus love in chat.
Yeah, there is
Keep
some.
that
If
going.
Erasmus was so great, how come there isn't an Erasmus too?
Well, I mean, arguably you could say that the university is a testament to how great he was, wouldn't you say?
All right, I expect you have questions.
We don't have a Mytilene University in Holland now, do we? Anyway.
That doesn't make what we're doing any less important. Mithridates has a dozen warriors for each of our legionari.
Okay, whatever.
Defeating Pontus will require patience and caution.
Okay,
Regaining
Lepidus.
control of the Aegean Mare is a crucial step
The
in
Aegean
cutting off
Mare.
The what?
Mithridates' supply lines.
The Aegean Sea.
I know what it's okay. Never mind.
Yeah, they are. I don't know why they went for the It's weird that they go in some cases with the Latin name.
It's probably also just an issue of communication between game designers and voice actors. Because I feel like sometimes they give strict directions on how to pronounce things, and sometimes they're like, "Sure, it's the Aegean Mare, Mr. Actor person, have your way."
Trust me.
Erasmus too. He's a bridge now. Sad is having a poke. Okay, whatever.
Erasmus
No more questions.
Rotterdam Boogaloo.
Are
Sounds
those
good.
your father's old weapons? I'm sure they mean a lot to you, but look, the leather is brittle.
Wow.
This won't do.
You can just
Visit
fix the
my
leather,
smith,
my man.
Sextus, and get yourself properly equipped before you go.
No one recycles in history. Didn't you know that?
Oh, of course.
Everyone just gets everything new all the time.
So we have to go to the smith. Smithy Smith.
Where is he?
Over here.
Saw Agrippa harassing that old Servus with the limping.
I am frustrated because if you press space, it doesn't return you to your character, and that is nonsense.
Is it there maybe a button you haven't found?
It should have been the space.
If you're here to get your weapons fixed, you must have me confused with Vulcan.
What?
Okay, sure. Vulcan is the Roman version of Hephaestus, by the way.
With forearms like that and such a lustrous beard, can you blame me for that?
That is not a lustrous beard. That's
It
barely
really
a
is
stubble.
But for Roman
if he said it,
purposes, you know.
True.
I guess I'm obliged to make it true.
You are obliged to make
Help
it true, my
yourself to any
friend.
of the gear on the racks. Take all of it if you need it.
I'll just take all of it. Interactive objects.
Yay.
That's a definition of games. So, we can get a Gladius 1.
Which kind of literally means sword.
Yeah. All of it is. It's a Hasta one, which is a spear, and it's a Pugio, which is a dagger. And Lorica Hamata, whatever that means. That I don't know. Take all. Yes. You know what? Give me everything.
Is weight? No, because it's kind of turn-based, so weight is not an issue, right?
No. Yeah. We are going to equip...
A smith with a lustrous beard, that'd be a fire hazard. True. Which is interesting when you think about how most smith characters in popular culture have beards. When you think about it.
We can duel with.
It's a testament to their skill, perhaps, if you can manage to keep the beard intact.
Okay, I suppose that is sure. That must be it.
We can wear an armor as well. Here we go.
So we have a Lorica Hamata.
Look at us.
Talk random. I think you might want to contact a Japanese dating sim studio about that idea.
This is a better Gladius for our friend because he's kind of strong. 4 to 7, 3 to 6. This is not that great.
That reminds me of the video game where you play as a Viking and you're dating villages that the village that you would otherwise be raiding, you're dating them.
Oh, Doki Ragnarok.
Like personified.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or I'm not sure. I haven't played it.
We still need to. I have it lined up to be played on stream eventually. So we're gonna be hilarious. We're gonna be playing Doki Ragnarok at some point.
It's called what now?
Doki Ragnarok.
Oh my god.
I don't see an issue with that.
I didn't say I saw an issue with that. I only suggested it by suppressing a facepalm into the keyboard of my laptop.
Ragnarok. Yeah, that's a great name. I mean, look, we've played Sucker for Love in this stream, so I feel like dating villages is not the lowest point that we can get to.
No, I guess.
My theory in this voice acting, considering the game's release timing, it might have all been done remotely without a voice director, and then the voice actors were provided a pronunciation guide, or something that may not have been entirely complete.
That is a very valid point.
Yeah.
That could just be the case, because they're very good with their C's and sort of with their U's, at least for how we've been taught it. Of course, we don't know precisely what the Romans sounded like. But their I's are very odd, because sometimes they pronounce it as ER, and sometimes it's an I, and sometimes they just pronounce it as R.
See you later, Cosmic on the internet. So here we see the island of Lesbos, which is actually, that's how the island of Lesbos looks. It doesn't have giant military camps in it, of course. The city of Mytilene is indeed in exactly this location on the island, also not as big. And it's a very mountainous island. This gulf over here is the Gulf of Calonee, so this is why this sort of has this little docky thing over here. And Eresos is at the northwestern section of the island over here.
Where is the petrified forest? It's sort of in the center, right?
No,
it's not?
It's down. If I recall correctly. I think it's down here. Interestingly, the warehouse is like has a big fire on the top. I don't know why. There's a milestone over here.
That way you can see it from your godlike overview.
No. Alright, let's go to the warehouse, because that's where we're meeting our guy.
Bye, Cosmic.
Let's go. Not only villages, but cities too, and occasional goats and dogs.
The beach. That's not a
Marching
beach.
along the coast has advantages, not the least of which being the discovery of the numerous coves of the Aegean Mare. Of course, this is a little bit of an exaggerated version of how things would look like, because, people would not build such giant complexes necessarily. Also, not such giant statues. We also see them in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. These statues that are like, I don't know, 3 times taller than a building, which...
Yeah, but I think those are explicitly marked as like sort of materializations of the mythological past of Greece.
I guess
so I'm willing to give them a break on that. Also because it looks very cool. Like they've taken some liberties, but it worked out well for a change.
Yeah. So we're not chilling to the beach because we actually have places to be.
And things
Follower
to do.
section. These are our followers. We can't do much with the screen yet. This game has a lot of components to it that are frustrating and boring. I'm just skipping through the tutorial bits because we know what to do.
We might be at the wrong spot. There's no one here.
You don't know that. It's dark. You can't see
Lucullus is clearly mistaken.
Lucullus is never mistaken.
If there was someone here, I would know.
Just chill out,
That's
bestia.
a very useful skill.
Hey, don't move.
Calm down. I am Julius Calidus of the Occulta Speculatores.
Clearly not a woman.
I presume you are my reinforcements.
Yes, because obviously she has to pretend she's not a woman, but we as the player have to be able to tell that she's a woman so we can crush on her.
Yeah.
All right, great pre-mare. See that warehouse? They store Greek fire there.
Oh.
First order of business is to steal it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the moment we move into that warehouse, they will sound the alarm. So we should be quick.
Okay, that's straightforward enough.
Let's go then. There's a small camp of sentries just down this hill. If we hit them first, they won't show up as reinforcements.
Then the ones inside the warehouse will hear the fighting and be ready for us.
You have touched the matter with a needle. The choice is yours, Prima.
One thing I dislike about this game is that it gives you all this like hyper clear, like, okay, you gotta do this and this, but if you do this, then this happens, and bam. It's kind of.
It's not really trial by fire.
No, it's not even a limiting choice in many ways. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm sorry. So these are let's go to the optional thing.
Oh.
Let's go to the optional thing.
I think I'll have a biscuit.
You can have a biscuit. Trial by screens.
Does anyone else want a biscuit?
Yeah. Oh, wait, thank you.
Oh no. Can you give me one?
Yeah, preparation, whatever. Let's go. Just straight up destroy them.
Bolton.
Well, I mean, still good. It's
Where
still
is
chocolate.
Our archer? She's our archer. Does he hit him from here? No. To be here and bam. Okay, so you need to move over here. You need to get back behind cover. Get back behind cover. You need to come here. Throw this to us. And you also get to do your buff thing. And that's about it for now. Yeah, I don't care. I wanna end my turn. Yeah. Damn it. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. They have some serious range. Serious range, I tell you. Okay. Alright, let's fight. Let us fight. He gets another action, which is great. I'm
not sure if Doc Random is appreciating or making fun of my sense of humor here.
Yeah, okay.
But the biscuits are very good. I'm glad I risked it.
You're glad you risked it for the biscuit? He has slashing resistance, and this is piercing. Okay. What can we do? We couldn't do much about this, honestly. He will get attacked here, but it's fine. Yeah, we deflected it.
So the game doesn't really have formations, does it? Because we're fighting hoplites. We're all
At
just...
this point, no. You're basically just going rogue.
Yeah.
Which is accurate, because we're playing as a rogue. So.
Yeah, I guess.
Sort of.
Has taken some damage. He has taken some damage.
Help me, and I shall help you when you are in need.
Oh,
it's all right.
Sure.
You're going to live.
All right. We're gonna take some arrow damage, but that's fine.
So, Jip, how did you end up here at archaeology apart from money?
Is there anything in archaeology that you would do not for money?
Well, so that's a broad question.
I don't mean to put you in a difficult spot, but like...
I'm just trying to figure out how to answer this question. No, it's when I came across the vacancy for the project that I'm working on, it just looked very fun, actually, because it was right up my alley, working on the interface between the Roman and the medieval period, like something I was really interested in the first place. So then I saw the vacancy, and I was like, well, they're probably not going to hire me, right? Because I'm not an archaeologist, and they're looking for an archaeologist. But for some reason, they did end up taking me on board, which is very nice, because to me, it's been really fun, actually, to learn more about archaeology and have this sort of multidisciplinary communication.
Yeah.
Like I bring in a little bit of history and they teach me a bit about archaeology and we have this multidisciplinary thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think in general it's very important in archaeology, but also for historians to work together.
Yeah,
we don't nearly see it as much as I like. Especially nowadays, because Von Steenis is a very nice building, obviously, but we're sort of removed.
It's very isolated, yeah.
From the rest of the humanities.
It's fun to think of how physical isolation often also results in mental isolation and apparently academic isolation.
It is very true. The fact that we are not close to historians anymore makes it very hard to do stuff with them, which is very unfortunate.
So what you're seeing right now is of course, the building offers a lot of nice equipment for scientific research.
It's all very new and shiny.
So that is very good, obviously, that for archaeologists who care to take the more scientific approach and work together with chemists and biologists and whatnot. And there's a lot of, I think, innovative stuff going on there.
Material and botanical studies really flourish, yeah.
Yeah. But in the end of the day, I wonder what's the point of archaeology is because we want to learn about ancient societies, and so do historians. So there's at the end of the day, we should keep talking between each other, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that goes for virtually any corner you decide to take up residence in archaeology, because archaeology is the interdisciplinary field of study. You've got biology, you've got physics, you've got history, I mean, obviously, and importantly, you've got geography, you've got geology, you've got everything. Yeah. And in that sense, it is pretty important to work on that interdisciplinary angle and speak to different specialists. Although I think that in recent years, over-specialization has also been marked as an issue, because you've got all these people who know very specific things but don't exactly get their knowledge to, come together with all the other tidbits of specializations. And
well, that's a problem with like for a PhD for me too. Like I spent 4 years researching a very niche a part of Merovingian archaeology and history, so I know everything about that particular subject, but obviously my knowledge on other topics is much more limited.
And then how do you go about bringing that very specific, point of view and that specific bundle of knowledge into the greater framework of archaeology and make it accessible to other people?
Yeah, you have to try and zoom out every now and then to try and connect your research to broader themes. But it isn't easy because there's so much being done in every field, So you'll zoom out and then you find out that people working on the Carolingian period, which is 2 centuries away from what I'm doing, are walled all on their own with so much literature that you have to read up there, and then you go back to the Roman period and there's so much that you need to read up there.
And literally everything is connected.
Yeah.
We're increasingly finding out that the whole world was connected even before we had the internet, so that makes it difficult to keep up to date with everything.
And geographically, you're right. Like if you're studying even the Roman period, they were much more interconnected even with India and China than we knew a while back.
Yep. But that's one of the things that people also do. You can very well do in archaeology as well at the faculty. Is that oftentimes there is a lot of different kind of specializations, and you can get to learn, as you say, like both, let's say, the Mediterranean Roman-related stuff, but also the Dutch Roman-related stuff.
That's true. There's a lot of people walking around with different specializations, right? So we have people working on trade routes in the ancient Near East, and we have people working on sub-Saharan Africa. We have there's so much going on if you look for them, because it's not all very well advertised. Like the website won't say that these are things that we're researching, but there's people who research that walking around.
There's some very cool people walking around, and some people who are resemble more the archetypal Indiana Jones type of archaeologist, and people who prefer the theoretical side of archaeology, and people who
safety and comfort of the office.
Yes. But one of the things that, especially for those of you who will be first-year students this year, one of the things that you will notice is that in your first year, you get to do to cover a lot of ground. So you start off your first year with a general course called World Archaeology. And in that, basically,
sprinting through the entirety of human existence. Good luck with that.
I mean, it is a pretty intense one, it is true, but
it was very interesting and fun, and at least if they still do that, all the tests are multiple choice, so that's your cup of tea, then you're good.
But it is something that you get to familiarize yourself with. The fact that at Leiden Archaeology you can cover a lot of ground, and you can, maybe not everything goes super in depth in the end.
Well, I mean, you can always choose to seek for more depth, right? But there is a lot of width on offer.
Exactly. There's a lot of things that you can do in the end.
Yeah. If you want to go to Mesoamerica, then you can. If you'd rather go to Sub-Saharan Africa or the Fertile Crescent, then you can.
And not just in terms of subject matter, but also in terms of methods, I guess, or research skills. There's just so much variety. Like you could go way into studying one kind of material type of artifact, but you might also be interested in using the forefront of new digital technologies to research archaeology, like mapping software or 3D or artificial learning, machine learning, stuff like that. There's just so much going on.
They've got fancy microscopes too.
Yeah,
that as well. So sort of more chemical analyses.
That was on, actually, the virtual mapping was one of the most visually pleasing things I've done in my second year, because you've got all these 70s looking maps depicting the vicinity to water when compared to settlement density, and it just looked like these, neon blobs that would fit right into a 70s American suburban kitchen.
That's a vibe you could go for.
Or, if you're lucky enough, like Sophie, you can end up doing an internship on a streaming streaming project.
Would this count as an internship?
It could count as an internship as well.
Could I sell this as an internship?
We can try. Surely.
That would be nice, to be honest.
Let's see, can we do this? Oh, come on.
I have absolutely no clue. We were making sure there were no stragglers or ambush things happening, right?
Basically we're here to steal Greek fire.
Oh, that was it, yeah.
More Sophie streaming confirmed. I mean, we all want Sophie to stream more.
If I can frame this as an internship for my bachelor's degree, definitely, yeah, sure.
All right, we're almost done with this bit. I believe.
And Doc Random says, I used to be a theoretical Indiana Jones, then I took a computer to the knee. Very funny.
Funny.
I'm going to have another one of these.
Come on, critical. For the love of...
You can't force the algorithm, you have to gently guide it.
We're nearly done.
Yeah, we are indeed nearly done, so let's try and kill the weakest one.
And obviously you never get the critical hit that your opponent does.
Yeah.
It's like XCOM, you have 99% chance to hit your target, so you miss.
Oh, come on. That was a mistake in the end. Oh well.
I've been playing some Fire Emblem Three Houses as of late, and honestly, I've been begging not to get critical hits. Because it messes up my strategy every time, and all my mages keep critting constantly. I'm like, but I didn't want to train you. I wanted to have your little peer have some experience. And now you killed 3 guys in a row because you keep inflicting 4 times their total health every time you attack.
I'm not dying for this.
There we go. Let's go. Let's go. Sorry. We have a soundboard. What can I say?
You're being too nice in chat, guys. Thank you. And Cloud Gardens was very soothing. I actually bought it for myself.
Fire crate.
Take all.
Be careful with those jars. The liquid inside is highly volatile.
Alright.
It'll make quick work of those ships.
There is something
Focus,
off
please.
about you.
This was.
And then we have to sneak back out, one supposes.
Yeah, well, we don't set
Not
fire to the
necessarily,
ships and then just stay
ideally.
there and burn.
I think I can speak for all of us when I say that we would all like to retain.
How were we super suspicious of our one single navigator on board, and do we just fully trust this woman who randomly came barging out of the shadows to tell us there was Greek fire in some
But
whack-ass
she was
shed?
our contact. She was our contact. That was the whole deal.
Oh, okay. How did we even confirm that?
Because she said, "I am your contact."
Also,
There are no plot holes whatsoever.
Right?
Women are wicked and vile. You can't trust a woman.
I see you've read your Shakespeare.
All right, we're gonna go through this mission and then we're moving to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Get some Viking expertise in there. I'm your contact, a woman with a male name. Yes. I don't see a problem. Discovered location, Mytilene. We're just passing through, don't mind us. I always listen to every random who walks up to me and says, I'm your contact. Look, at this point, if somebody just randomly walks up to me in the street and says, I'm your contact, I'm taking it for granted. I'm saying, okay, please.
Just hold on a moment while I check my quest log.
Yeah. Okay, checks out. Why did you pick Expeditions and Valhalla, which might be in the top 5 of the worst games of the last 5 years?
So good.
Wow,
Now we just need to get through
Hot
that gate
takes.
with the Greek fire. Just one guard. Let's you and I go up there and deal with him, Prime.
Yeah. All right,
As you command.
I will keep my head on a swivel.
You do that, my friend.
That sounds so weird. I know it's just a saying, but it sounds so weird.
It does.
And just imagine him standing on the hillside like a bobblehead.
This guy also
going
up here is just there. He's just looking on the floor. Like,
yeah.
that's it. He's just looking on the floor.
Maybe he's looking for the miniature Roman soldier from Night at the Museum.
Let's wait. Dead. That was an Assassin's Creed moment.
I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Well, rejoice, because you're not getting any more of that in Valhalla. In Valhalla, we only plunder and pillage.
Do we have to get down? Yeah, we have to get down.
It is a shame.
I'm really sad how they turned the franchise from
Actual
like
stealth and assassinations to
generic combat RPG.
I have unspent skill points. Where did I get the skill points? Ah, yeah, skills. Skills, indeed. Everybody leveled up, so because of course as a Roman soldier you get to level up.
This is historically accurate. I can confirm.
It's a known thing.
Don't you wake up every morning to check your skill tree and spend some coin on?
No, because I'm not a Roman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Some
Is that an
passive stuff.
exclusively Roman thing?
Sorry, I know what these are, so I'm just going for it.
So what I'm wondering about the Greek fire is how did they manage to keep it secret all that time? You know, so easy to get your hands on it.
It clearly is. I don't think they keep it very secret.
I don't think they all had their dummies guide to chemistry sets with them whenever they got their hands on some Greek fire.
I should have been up here with her.
And it might also be one of those issues where it was so obvious to everyone that no one bothered to write it down, so now we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, like having a word for blue. No, because
Romans get skill trees, that's how they out-leveled everyone and conquered the world. Dutch people sadly only get crafting menus when they enter a windmill. Damn.
And all you can make is pancake mix.
The ships are moored quite close to each other. Fire will spread east, partly. He didn't even have time to realise what happened.
Okay, assassin.
Or Stampot
to the others to move the Greek fire crate as close as they can to the galleys.
And only when carrying around a big wheel of cheese, Doc Random.
At once, Primo.
I guess we have a couple of We could lob a pot of Greek fire onto the deck of that nearest galley from the pier below. That would give us a head start on our
Have you
main
had your throat checked out recently, ma'am?
Those 3 guards look half asleep. I'm sure we could take them out the same way I handled this guy here. That means less enemies to fight.
I always get my stumbled from a windmill, don't you?
The group.
It just spawns there.
Let's regroup.
Your father's a miller, Alpheus. Again, if there is any prospective or current archaeology students who've just tuned in, feel free to ask any questions you've got about archaeology, about games we're playing, about the people sitting here. We've got a team equipped to answer at least some of your questions, hopefully truthfully.
Well, you know, there's no absolute truth in archaeology, right?
There is definitely no absolute
Just trying to come up with the answers, but...
Stay here.
You're going to be reading such convoluted literature about that. Have fun next year.
Wow. Wow, damn.
It's gonna be fun, right?
It is definitely going to be fun.
We are here to
sabotage the fleet. Yes.
We have successfully woken up all of Mytilene.
Yes.
We need to burn those ships quickly, or this whole operation will have been for nothing.
Oh no!
Wake up! The Romans have come.
Based on how close the ships are,
it's a little
stiff. 2
stiff.
galleys aflame, no one can stop the fire spreading.
Okay. Yeah, well.
At the center of each ship.
I don't know, maybe still better voice acting than Skyrim.
But in Skyrim, it's a vibe, you know.
Fair.
I'll pick it up. Okay. Well.
How did the Roman Empire fall? One sentence answer. The forbidden word is Goth. It didn't really fall.
Ottomans.
Ottomans. Wow. It is true.
To quote Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett, it just vaguely sauntered downwards.
Yeah, that's a nice approximation.
Yeah, it's kind of true. Alright, yes, let's go. It's gonna take a moment or two, but we're gonna get there.
So I'm definitely of the school of thought that the Roman Empire didn't fall in the 5th century, right? That's the classic date that people say. 476, the Roman Empire fell. 476, in case you didn't know, it's when the child emperor Romulus Augustulus gets deposed by a hairy barbarian called Odoacer. So that's often taken as the end of the Roman Empire, but obviously it still lives on in the east as the Byzantine Empire for another 1,000 years.
Which is a pretty cool empire, by the way, that everyone somehow always forgets about.
It's very sad. It's a very cool empire with a very interesting and long history and advanced.
It's one of the most long-lasting empires in human history.
Absolutely.
I mean, you do get a lot of it's basically, if you read Byzantine history, it's basically Game of Thrones. You get all these manuscripts that talk about assassinations in the court and plots and whatnot, and it's it really is a cool history to read. Archaeologically speaking, I have to say I don't really I'm a bit meh about Byzantine archaeology because I'm more of a prehistorian guy. So yeah, what can I say? It is what it is, you know.
But so anyway, in the West, that's where where my expertise comes in. Then is the Roman Empire gets replaced by these barbarian kingdoms. But what we see in the text and also a little bit in the archaeology is that they just keep on doing so many of these Roman things, right? So they keep on using and writing laws in the Roman way. They keep governing in the Roman way. They're still Christian, like the late Romans were.
But they did use Greek instead of.
The Byzantines, switched to Greek or always spoke Greek essentially. Because the eastern half of the Roman Empire is majorly Greek-speaking anyway. I think it's Emperor Heraclius in the 7th century who switches the official language to Greek.
Yeah, I don't remember if it's Heraclius or I don't remember his name, but it is around the 6th, 7th century that the Greek language becomes once again.
Because Emperor Justinian in the 6th century still compiles the law code, the Codex Justiniani, in Latin.
No, he did.
The Roman Empire is a bit like my archaeology. Did your archaeology career also vaguely sound to downwards? But then that did make way for a rise in the glorious field of game studies.
Exactly. Come on, enemy turn, let me play.
I can tell you how.
Oh no, did the old guy fall again?
It's not going super well, to be honest.
Oh no. Wait, do you want to make the switch to Valhalla or do you want to finish this battle?
No, we are going to die anyway because I did that. So,
aren't we all?
Aren't we all? So we're gonna make the switch as we talk about the Byzantine Empire. Because it's also
it's a nice
Vikings were also at the Byzantine Empire, as we very well know from graffitos in Hagia Sophia.
They were everywhere.
They were everywhere, yeah.
They were on Sicily as well.
Yep. There we go.
And Malta and goes. So. They were even in the Americas.
they were quite literally everywhere. So as we move into Valhalla, I'm gonna change this because I'm not gonna be playing Valhalla. I'm gonna be moving. So
I am going to attempt to rewire my brain into accepting that I'm using an Xbox controller instead of a PS4 one.
Yeah. So let's change this. Spam.
Also, for the people in chat, I'm curious to know if you've played any of the explicitly Northern mythology DLC and what you thought of it. Because I believe that reviews and reactions were generally very positive, but it also feels like just a complete departure from everything that Assassin's Creed 1 was, everything that the franchise was when it started out.
As I'm rewiring for a moment the OBS, we're gonna move into playing. We're gonna do Valhalla.
Queen of Creed, Ralphius, jeez.
There we go.
You make me blush.
So we switch.
I'll go sit there and you can either sit here behind the laptop if you want to sit there, or unless you want to play the game.
I don't know, what was the plan?
I can play, and if you really want to play, I can do that too, but it might be difficult to play the game and keep on a consistent discussion.
Why don't you play?
We'll get to the hot shift, don't worry. All right. I am...
You forgot your biscuit.
Oh, damn. I didn't even realize I had a cookie. Not realize. All right.
What a sophisticated title.
Get out.
If only I still had my cup of tea. All right. Oh yeah, Ralphreus, you're a mod now, right? You can throw people in.
Yeah, it's a really big problem that Ralphreus is a mod because I can't time out him anymore. Ralphreus is one of our mainstays in streaming the past. All right.
Oh my god, it's funny that you should use that sentence, Doc Random, because as of late, I've been watching Glow with my mother, which is about show wrestling by women in the 80s. So, anyway, the controller is not doing anything.
Is it not?
Oh, it
is.
There for the Valhalla hate.
That's the Xbox button, so now it's like the interface. There you go.
But like the cursor isn't.
Oh, I think you need to move the cursor. I don't know. That's weird. Well, let's see.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Ah, we never have technical difficulties.
Yeah, it is working.
The moment I touch all the electronic stuff,
it's there. Q, E, you can move stuff. Like, if you press, press B and X.
It's not doing anything.
Oh, I don't know.
Like controls, input mode. There we go.
Xbox controller.
It's still not doing anything.
Is it connected? Is it turned on?
There we go. I fixed it.
There you go. Yes. No, press no. Just press B.
Don't be too salty, Omar. We've got fresh students in chat. You shouldn't scare them off.
Yeah.
So this is Eivor, our main character.
We're gonna be playing somewhere from the beginning of the tutorial, but not in the very beginning.
So I haven't played Valhalla at all. I've played some Odyssey and Origins, and I figured I should play Valhalla because it's early medieval, but I just got so tired of the formula, you know, so I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I've enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, because I was very put off by the Vikings the series look they went for with all the Vikings. But they did add in some nice touches like flighting, and there is some historical accuracy as long as you don't look at the weapons too closely.
Or anything else really. But
well. The vibes are nice. It's basically Skyrim, but without Skyrim.
Without the dragons. So as we go in, let's tell us a little bit more about exactly what you're doing with your PhD and stuff.
Okay. So I'm working on the Merovingian period, which is slightly before the Vikings. It's called after the Merovingian dynasty of the Franks, ruled most of Western Europe between the 5th and the 7th centuries. And in the project, what's called rural riches in Merovingian northern Gaul. We are looking at mostly the funerary archaeology in the Netherlands and Belgium, parts of northern France and western Germany. We've got thousands and thousands of graves excavated for the last 2 centuries, really. Many of these graves are filled with beautiful objects like weapons, shields, glass vessels, jewelry, a lot of beads. And the question is, how did all this stuff end up in these graves, right? Because we've got these objects in the thousands, literal thousands.
Yeah.
And usually what archaeologists, when they find a rich grave, the theory is that a rich grave must have belonged to someone who's very important. Because otherwise, how could you afford to fill all of these goodies?
Yeah.
But our observation is that we have so many of these furnished graves that they can't all have belonged to rich people or to the important of these people. So we theorize that perhaps ordinary people during the Middle Ages have more access to economic networks than we used to think.
Yeah.
So quite ordinary farmers, really. Like we're talking about excavations like here in Oostgeest, in Leiden. Just an ordinary settlement next to the Rhine River. Nothing fancy in terms of architecture.
Yeah.
You find a beautiful vessel of Oostgeest. You might have seen it in the RMO. To the chat, if you ever go to the Rijksmuseum van Oudheden in Leiden, you will see the Oostgeestschaal. Very beautiful, but it's found in not an elite context at all.
Yeah.
It's a very ordinary settlement. Well, not ordinary per se, but it's not an elite.
More mundane, kind of non-elite.
I completely forgot how combat worked, by the way, so forgive me. I don't know what I'm doing.
Sorry. I hope chat can hear me.
Microphone. Or turn down the game. Can you turn down the sound of the game while you're like slaughtering?
Sorry, what?
Put the game volume a tiny bit down.
All right, I will.
I hope chat heard me, because I otherwise I can repeat myself. But
okay, hold on.
But so generally, then people here not necessarily much more rich, but then just with more access to more things that we would have thought before.
With more access to what you said, or what?
No, with access to more
right.
stuff, to more
Well, it depends on how you define.
Oh, this is not
rich,
good.
Right?
This is not good. Oh, sorry. I need to find some berries.
We think that a lot of these goods that we find in graves are not necessarily objects that they would have used in day-to-day life, although they could have. But when people put things in graves, it's a part of a special event. It's an important life, in this case, a death event, to commemorate someone passing away. So you have an important ritual around the burial or cremation of someone who just died.
Yeah,
and the whole community comes together and sort of commemorate this person's passing. Yeah, and that's a very important social event, right? Someone passes away from your community. We're talking about a period in which communities are small. They're small face-to-face communities. So whenever someone passes away, it's an important event for the whole community, because social relations, fall apart. You have to sort of renegotiate the social setting. So this brings in a very important ritual layer, and a ritual means that these objects are involved. So we think that it's sort of like a ritual demand for objects, right? So people need objects to commemorate death in this case, but perhaps it's also true for marriage, but we can't see that archaeologically because marriages are not preserved in the soil. Or
marriage is a more ephemeral type of ritual that doesn't end somewhere. It has an end point, but it doesn't necessarily, its end point doesn't leave material.
And they might have used objects there, but we just wouldn't find it as much anyway. So these graves, they leave behind all of these artifacts that we can study. And they really point to the importance of life cycle rituals. So important life events that are commemorated by ritual. And apparently quite ordinary people had access to these goods to do these. So it's not necessarily that this is like a capitalist consumer society in the modern sense, with people being, consuming left and right. But it is this demand for goods for ritual purposes that stimulated this exchange.
And it's very interesting. This is one of the ways that archaeology can basically help you reorient yourself in the way that you understand certain contexts or types of objects, because people would often think that when something is very rich, in quotes, then it must be by people who are by definition rich, but we know in this case that this is not the case, or the understanding changes as you go through these types of graves and as you progress with your research. This kind of understanding that it had to be a wealthier society is not necessarily the case, or wealth can be understood in a different way than we understand it now.
And then that's sort of the idea of what the project is doing. And then me as a historian, I've come in to sort of look at the elites. So if we're saying that, look at these quite ordinary people that have access to goods, to what extent did they have to pay taxes or pay rent?
Sorry, I should have shot someone in the head.
Congratulations.
Keep on killing. It's a splendid display of murder. So
why are there so many people? Oh, I just have to go to my long ship instead of kill everyone. Maybe that'll help.
Running away is a good idea.
I'm supposed to run away. Okay.
I know you have a bloodlust. That's a very common occurrence.
I don't.
Right. There are plenty of clips that
point
otherwise.
That's not true.
You can check out our clips in the saved videos of the channel.
How do I get down?
Take command Y. Press
I can't escape. Oh, that's the Y. Never mind.
There we go. This is what happens in this stream. You're trying to say something smart and then blood.
Yeah, that makes sense. So anyway, it's the mystery that we have is that the texts mention important elite people, like we know from historical texts that there are kings, for instance, mostly down south in Paris and Metz, France.
Where the frick is Thornburg?
But we don't really know that well about to what extent they influenced the rest of the region. If there are, if there's a strict social hierarchy, or, and that's one of the interesting comparisons that I'm making, is that perhaps society was much more horizontal than the stereotype we have of the Middle Ages. Like everyone thinks Middle Ages, it must be kings, dukes, princes, the whole feudal pyramid. But that pyramid of feudalism hasn't developed yet in the early Middle Ages. So it could be that society is a lot more flat, actually. Do you think?
And it can also be, of course, this is, as some people already know in the chat, that's also one of the things that I look into a lot, like archaeology and anarchism and conceptualizing societies in different social structures. And this is one of the things that are important to reconsider how these kind of societies. We have a very stereotypical understanding, as you say, of what the Middle Ages are and how they would have looked. But even if the society had a certain structure, and even if there were kings, it doesn't mean that within this hierarchical society you can't get...
Can I very briefly draw back attention to the game and just... Let's there is a wooden church over there, which is really cool.
Not that be there because nice. That is a late medieval stave church.
It is absolutely anachronistic, but it does look very cool.
It looks fab.
It does look... isn't it also too tall, even for like late medieval?
It's a little too elaborate to be realistic, but it's still
I wouldn't
cool.
say it's too elaborate per se.
I mean elaborate in the sense of size.
It's giant, yeah. It is. It looks giant in any case.
I also have absolutely no clue where we're going, but I did remember something about
How dare you say that? Yeah, well. We're going somewhere. That's a nice little
We're going back home after Eivor decided to avenge their father, which failed majestically. But please, back to you, because you were having an interesting discussion, which I rudely interrupted by screaming at things. Okay, I'm going the wrong way.
I think, end of the simulation.
The Matrix ends here.
There's a glitch in the Matrix over here, clearly. Area not available, you can't go there. This is what happens in reality as well.
You've never just walked into an invisible wall and just awkwardly half-jump walked into it until you glitched your way into a forbidden area?
Yeah, historically accurate representation of Viking exploration. Just desynchronized when they reached the Americas.
So what I liked about your point of conceptualizing society is I think this is very important for maybe any archaeology students or prospective archaeology students coming in the chat or listening to us right now. Is that with archaeology you're looking at these objects. You're excavating, you're finding artifacts, you're finding perhaps structures, ancient buildings, but they don't tell you a story. You have to come up with the story of what these objects mean, right?
Exactly.
And very often the story that you bring with you to studying the objects influences how you read those objects.
Yeah.
So what I found in my research is that we have a number of very, very rich graves that are automatically then interpreted to be royal graves.
Yeah.
So one nice example is in Cologne in Germany. You have underneath the Dom Cathedral, the big church in Cologne, you have they found two very rich graves belonging to the 6th century. It's a woman and a child, and they're buried in like a wooden sarcophagus kind of structure, or a burial chamber, I should say. They're dressed nicely. They have all the things I just mentioned, like nice clothes, jewelry, swords, some kind of buckets, interesting stuff. Kind of orb that looks sort of like regal. So immediately they started speculating, like, this must be Princess Visigoth, or Queen Visigoth, and her son, because we know these people from the written sources. But there's nothing really in the archaeology to prove that. Yeah. So it's because you come in expecting to find royalty that you then make them royalty. Yeah. But it's not. You can't prove it, right? Yeah. So it's the theory that you bring with.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that students who are starting in archaeology is something that they have to kind of deal with, the fact that a lot of people come in with a certain expectation. Because there is a certain expectation of what archaeology is. The kind of stuff that you see in the museums are usually the impressive stuff. You know of the Parthenons, you know of the pyramids, right? You know of the big things, you know of the kings, you know of the gold stuff, the silver stuff, and whatnot. But then as you progress through your archaeology studies, then you understand that there are actually other things that are...
I think an important part of the sort of theoretical, philosophical classes you get during your first year and of the bachelor's is getting rid of and constantly re-evaluating the assumptions with which you go into research or into just studying.
There's a lot of relearning that people have to do. And this is not necessarily... I mean, a lot of people, when they see these, like, okay, what are you looking at? Just pieces of pottery and small, like, lithics or, like, stuff that on a first glance might look a little bit more boring. But it turns out that quite literally rubbish are the more interesting stuff to look at as an archaeologist. And that's not a joke. Oftentimes we can joke about the fact that, hey, archaeologists just look at the rubbish of dead people. But it's A, it is true, we are looking at a lot of rubbish, and B, rubbish are actually one of the most interesting things that you can find.
And in every grain of sand and every bit of pottery, you can, even when it's not gilded and decorated into Valhalla, you can find so much information in it, whether humanity oriented, less chemical, etc., or by carbon dating stuff.
Yeah.
No, and believe me, during Field School 1, you'll be exalted to find even 1 square centimeter of pottery. You're going to love that.
So let me tell you, Field School 1 is all archaeology students have to do two different kind of field schools, which basically translates to an excavation. And everybody gets to do the same Field School 1, which is an excavation here in the Netherlands. Mm-hmm. Sophie was there last year because of COVID. People had to skip a year. Mm-hmm. And excavations in the Netherlands might not be what you expect when it comes to finds. If you join my excavation in Greece, you get to find a lot more things. I'm not overselling it, but yeah, it's an interesting. It's a good. I think excavating in the Netherlands is a good coming to terms with the reality that you don't find the things that you expect.
I was actually really excited when I joined field school a few years ago because I wanted to have a little bit of experience of what's it like to be Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
I was really excited to find a little. We were excavating in Valkenburg, which is the airfield between Leiden and Katwijk. And we found on this one day, we found a little Roman roof tile with graffiti on it.
Oh, sick.
That belonged to
that is
which legion.
Very nice.
That's very nice.
That was it's just a small find, but there's
well, that's not a small find.
Well, it's a small find.
Yeah,
but
it's on. During my field school, we went to a sort of hopefully Bronze Age site, and I think we found 3 iron nails from the 18th century and 1/3 of a Victorian era, which is England, but late 19th century pipe. That's it. That was a team of 100 people total working over the span of several months.
It happens, sometimes it happens.
So I'm interested actually maybe to go back to Valhalla.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this longhouse.
Yes, this is a longhouse. This is a mead hall, which you can read about in Beowulf if you want.
Take it away, Jip. What are we seeing here?
Yes, we're seeing a mead hall, a longhouse. This is also a little oversized, arguably.
Quite so, yeah. I'm hearing you talk about Beowulf, which is interesting. Because Beowulf is an Old English text, right? So it's written in England, and it's written in what precursor to the English language, but it takes place in Scandinavia,
where we are now. By the way,
where we are now. But the question is, how representative is that to actual archaeology? And when we read about the mead hall or the palace, or what's the word? I guess the royal residence. It's not obviously kind of description that archaeologists can use to literally reconstruct the building. Yeah. It's a lot about the symbolism and the meaning that it has. I do think it's the
I mean, it can supplement material you find, right?
Can. Absolutely.
But indeed, there is often these descriptions aren't necessarily true to fact, as an archaeologist would like to see it for realistic reconstructions. Yeah.
But so the problem with these buildings is that we quite literally don't know that well about what they actually look like, right?
Yeah. So no, they're all wooden mostly, as you can see here, and that doesn't preserve very well.
So what we find in the soil is only the beams, the structural beams, the post holes that were inserted into the soil, and when they rot away, they leave discolorations in the soil.
Yeah, so you don't even find the wood itself, but you find the discolorations. Or the ditches. You find a lot of ditches in archaeology.
Yeah. So we can reconstruct the house plan, but that's it. And I always think it's very important to realize that everything above ground, it's just, it's archaeologists fantasizing.
An educated guess, but
that's
still...
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
But it's very much depending
berries, yes. I'm sorry. without it kind of sucks. Like on the one hand, I understand that they want to sort of make it more complicated and engaging and stuff, so they added in a stamina meter and health, but I don't want none of that.
No,
I just want to stealth. I don't even necessarily want to kill people. I want to play a solid stealth game with some interesting
that's not
historical.
Assassin's Creed if you're looking for it.
It used to me.
But so this interpretation of a longhouse that we see here might be a bit of an exaggerated size or like exaggerated decoration.
I like it though. Like they painted it in colors, which I think could be very conceivable.
Yeah.
It is quite grand in terms of architecture, not the size, but with details and ornaments and craftwork, you know.
Yeah.
And it could very well be the case that that's what they actually look like. Because what you very often find in reconstruction drawings is a very pessimistic view of early medieval architecture. So it goes by the view that, you know, the early Middle Ages is a simple time, Dark Ages.
Everything is covered in mud.
Everything is, you know, it's the Mud Ages. Everything is simple and primitive. But we really don't actually know. And I think it's quite fair. We've already saw one of those, the stave churches when we were sailing past, which is obviously it's a late medieval example, but it shows you just how ornate, how sophisticated wooden architecture can be.
I do not love murder and I do not condone violence. I'm a pacifist. Okay. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Stop it. Oh, I'm sorry. That is all your pottery.
There we go.
Never mind.
But in a way, that's why these kind of games are also nice and why it's interesting to... because I'm sure some people might be wondering what the fuck a bunch of archaeologists are doing looking into video games, but this is one of the reasons why we're interested in looking into video games, because for one, they let us talk about stuff, right? Now we had an opportunity to talk about longhouses and talk to a wider audience.
They prompt a lot of dialogue, whether they're historically accurate or not. Yeah.
But at the same time, games tend to offer this visual, interactive, and oftentimes indeed more grander version of the past that we as archaeologists tend to be more conservative because we want to stick to the data.
Look, someone's making a runestone.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, like this, for example, like someone making a runestone is not we think that somebody made it, but it's very hard to conceive or to illustrate someone making a runestone. And in a game like this, you get to have
someone doing this in midwinter, which is a very bad idea.
I was just about to ask, do you reckon they made it in the field, or would they have painted it like indoors and then dragged it out or something?
I guess
no clue.
I don't know, to be honest. I'm sure there's been a lot of research done into that, and I did read a bunch of stuff about it before my previous AC Valhalla streams, but none of that really stuck.
Yeah.
Any runestone experts in chat?
I know they were erected, again, if they were erected, but by men and women both, and often to commemorate important moments in their life or feats of economical or tactical prowess. And I think it's unlikely someone would do this in winter because your fingers would freeze off and the stone would be
especially
hard to work
without
on.
gloves and holding cold stone.
But it's always winter in the Viking North.
Oh, obviously, just like how it's always orange in Mexico.
So always sunny.
Can we have a look at those horses?
Sure, we can. Where did you see horses? There
horses. I'm not a horse expert, but I reckon they're way too big, aren't they?
I think they're mostly not very equipped for the landscape as you can see it around. At least they're not stacking knights in full armor on top of them, which is a nice thing.
They are sizable, but not that sizable.
Because what I heard, but I might be wrong there, is that that horses in the Viking era were a good deal smaller.
I think I actually read something like there was a paper published by British researchers about horses during the heyday of actual knights, the ones in shining armor, and they did ride on something more akin to a pony rather than the Arabian pure bloods you see in most films.
Would be quite sizable for medieval standards because they were bred to be the medieval tank, right? But as after the stirrups were common and completely specialized warrior castes emerged that used these horses.
I mean, Arabian horses were also pretty small. Just generally, horses tended to be much smaller than they are now because now they are much more...
For show.
Yeah, for show and bred much better and so on. Mm-hmm. Shall we get into the mid-hall or what's the plan?
I wanted to proceed with the quest, but I also didn't want to add a cutscene to your discussion.
That the pigs aren't hairy enough. Yeah,
yes,
indeed.
They're way too big and way too bold.
Yeah. They should have been a lot more akin to wild boars rather than actual modern day pigs.
For good this time.
Randvi.
A warm welcome as always, Randvi. You look like reddened shit. What happened?
Okay, thank you.
Nothing to crow about, except to say the men who delayed us are dead.
They really are not dead because we just ran away.
Well, I killed at least 6 of them.
That's something. That's not nothing.
I like the necklace.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the B types are accurate, but it's a nice interpretation.
What would Mede say about
Yeah, we'd have to ask her.
Yeah.
We have a bead expert in my project for those people.
Yes, I followed a class from her as well. That was very interesting. I mostly take offense to all the exposed, untreated furs they're wearing. And the weirdly stitched together armor and all the exposed belts. And
After so many years, you should take it to Gunnar.
I really need some water. I have no water. And
you can take a cup and have some tea.
And I will...
He's meeting with a messenger from the north. I can wait. A cloud hangs over you.
Oh, wistfully gazing into the distance.
Seeing my father's axe after 17 winters. It stirred something in me. A feeling I have not had since the day he was killed. Since the day I got this. Memories of past agonies. Of sadness and pain. I should speak with Vulcan.
It's also... Eivor got that scar after being mauled by a wolf. It looks more like a burn scar to me.
Right. I was thinking about the tattoo. I don't know if Aris knows anything about tattoos, because it's also this very stereotypical thing that you see in Vikings.
Yes, I'm obviously not an expert. I do think it's a bit strange to have it on your temple, because that would be a very sensitive place, generally speaking, a very risky place, and also prone to tattooing, especially in the past when you didn't have all those nice mechanical tools, is kind of not without risks. So getting a tattoo and potentially infected skin over there. Mm-hmm.
I think what's interesting to me is this entire vibe that we're seeing about Vikings in popular media. So in Valhalla, but also in the History Channel's Vikings, as you mentioned, or The Last Kingdom, or whatever. Yeah. Is that they really have this picture of what a Viking is. In this case, a woman, but very often hyper masculine, hairy, beardy.
Well, and even the women, when they do involve women, they are also hyper masculine, gritty warriors.
Yeah, and it's this very particular image of what a Viking is, and I think it's very stereotypical. We're celebrating these Vikings as pirates and raiders and very I versus the word hyper masculine, but it's if you look at what
it's very aggressive.
Yes, absolutely.
It's all very when Vikings were also very much tradespeople and craftsmen,
and it focuses on the one side of what a Viking is. We think the word Viking comes from Vikinga. It's a word to go Viking, something to go overseas, which could be to trade or to wage war or to plunder, I should say.
Okay, so it ties nicely into the discussion. This is something they did add in to veer away from that hyper-aggressive understanding of what a Viking is. You can fight in the game, which is sort of an epic battle in history.
Yeah,
and it's fun.
I always put a few coins down as a wager.
All right.
Most of those who enjoy fighting have an equal fondness for betting, but today we'll abstain. Let's begin.
Oh boy.
I'm ready.
Okay, I need to listen for this.
Key to match cadence and rhyme. It's as much about sound as it is about time. So be careful in choosing the words that you say.
With your teaching, I'm sure.
I'll recall what you've taught ere I enter the fray.
What you taught ere I enter the fray.
A fine answer. Perfect rhyme and a lovely cadence to match my line.
Let's go.
Now, let us examine meaning. In flighting, you'll need to be cutting and keen. It's about wielding wit more than venting your spleen. I tell you're foolish and stupid and dull.
Then you spin your face.
Then I will spit
Wow.
in your face
I would
and
have
I'll
gone for the
bash
first
in your
one.
skull.
Not bad, not bad.
I would have gone for the first one.
The sound is good, but consider that I said
Oh,
you
okay,
were
okay.
silly, and you told me you would kill me.
Oh,
mean,
this
that
is
is
a
kinda
trap.
funny.
This was a trap.
Remain on theme. Something to consider.
Okay, Alvis.
Last one. So go then and conquer the world with your wit. Go be clever, be quick, show your spirit and grit. I look eagerly forward to seeing how you fare.
Flit you.
I will flight you with flourish and best you with flair.
Perfect, yes.
Damn, let's go.
You could destroy me with such a line. Your flighting's astounding. You're worthy of praise.
Okay, we got it,
swing
homie.
a fine axe and you turn a good phrase.
Thank
Well,
you,
well,
Elvis.
well.
I'll take the lesson.
But
to
you
heart.
can do this in
Yeah. And it gives you
several
like, charisma.
settlements, and it
like a
gives you
mini
charisma.
game.
It's like a mini
Yeah,
game.
it's like a mini game that improves your charisma, which improves your chances in successfully turning phrase to peacefully resolve a couple of issues.
So it's not just mayhem and murder is what they're trying to
No, I mean it still is mostly mayhem and murder, but not only.
Yeah. The thing is, they tried to make a point, I think, in the game about Vikings not being only murderers, like people that just go around killing, especially by depicting these kind of settlements.
But what it comes down to in
Yeah,
the end, and the way they design all their characters is still...
But I'm happy they try to show the lighter side of life.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone in chat saw this movie, but I think 2 months back I went into the cinema and I think the movie was called The Northman.
Yeah.
And
I haven't watched it
Have you
yet.
seen it? Okay,
Not
it's a
yet.
very interesting movie, and I do recommend watching it because
Mhm.
I thought like cinematographically it's very compelling.
Yeah.
And it is pretty interesting film, but it's so dark, it's so gritty. It's like Vikings, the grim dark version.
It's basically orgies and violence, from what I gathered. I mean, it looked very interesting and compelling, but yeah, it is.
It's just from the moment you start watching it till the end, it's just violence and darkness, and it's a very dark take, and I found it interesting, but also like that's sort of the image of that's not all the Vikings were, you know. It's a very one-sided perspective.
Yeah.
And also, you know, just historically speaking, wanton self-destructiveness does not make your society very durable.
No, definitely not. I like Pasco makes a point about how the bard is called Alvis.
Yeah, I noticed that too, but I was like, is that because he's... is that a play on Elvis?
I watched Elvis, the movie, recently, by the way.
Did you?
I did.
Was it fun?
Recent past, but still the past. It was a lot, actually.
It was Baz Luhrmann, yeah.
It was flipping like 2.5 hours long of like constant like action. So it was a lot.
I think someone is trying to trigger me in chat.
They didn't call it Dark Ages for nothing. Mwahaha. Hey, Dora is in the chat.
Oh, hey there, Dora Tepe.
So the Northman was impressed by the visual spectacle, but felt absolutely nothing for the main character.
Yeah, I can see that. It's very dull main character. But I think that's sort of the point as well.
Yeah, but when you're trying to be subversive by still using a stereotype, are you really being subversive? I don't know.
It's an interesting discussion to have.
Definitely.
Possibly.
Also, I am completely lost. Where am I?
You have to go somewhere.
I guess.
I mean, it's Assassin's Creed. It just tells you where to go.
Reach Valkan said, "Oh, we're going to the Seer. Let's go to the Seer."
Let's go.
So about 4 months ago, I would have had a lot to tell about that, but I've all forgotten it now. But Seers were a very integral part, as far as we know, again, of Vikings. There wasn't really a Viking society because, as you said, it's probably from the word to go, Viking, and the population of Scandinavia wasn't a homogeneous people, which were collectively Viking. There were a lot of different sort of kingdoms, I suppose, but even
chieftains,
that, yeah.
It's better to call it Norse as well, rather than Viking, because Viking is an activity
Mm-hmm.
that might have included people from non-Scandinavian backgrounds as well, right? So it's easy to imagine how some people from Ireland or England or maybe even the Netherlands could have joined in on a long ship, and went sailing.
Exactly.
So if you're speaking about the culture in Scandinavia, I think Norse is the term that's current these days. Although maybe I'm upsetting some people now. I don't know.
I mean, that's an interesting point to make in general about societies, that we tend to give names to cultures that these cultures would not have a name for themselves because they were not a unified group that we think they are. Right? We have this very much in Mesopotamia, where we talk about like the Sumerian society, for example, and there was no Sumerian society really, because there were just a bunch of different city-states and nomadic groups.
Or just like there was no unified ancient Greece.
Right.
Yeah, like there's no... You can make like a case for a general sense of Greekness at some point later in the classical period, but the fact that groups of people were speaking the same language or had the same general belief system and whatnot, it makes them geographically and in certain cultural traits connected, but it doesn't make them unified per se. It's very, at least not in the way of modern conception of a nation, right? Of groups of people that are all
generalizing can be helpful to create oversight in a very complex world, but it's also very reductive.
Like obviously in the Old Norse world, it's a variety of different chiefdoms or kingdoms, but they might have shared, or they did share quite a lot of cultural similarities between them, obviously, that we can then label Norse. Because again, in archaeology, you have to generalize to some degree. You have to...
Eventually, yeah.
You have to categorize mostly. That's why the generalizing happens a lot.
I mean, there's also nowadays, there's a discussion about that as well, right? Whether categorization, strictly speaking, is the thing you want to do. And with the increased digital world that we live in, we also understand that there are different ways of approaching, let's say, data management, which in a way, in the end, is categorization.
Also, look, the game is very pretty.
I mean, Assassin's Creed, if anything, they are very pretty. They might be boring, but they are very pretty. We also have a very good graphics card, which allows us to see this. Because
we have a very disclaimer, people. We have a very, very
this
expensive
is a professional
computer.
PC, yeah. But yeah, nowadays with digital means you can understand things in different ways rather than
How
just
long
strictly.
will it take me to plummet to my death?
Oh gosh, a classic Sophie move.
Oh, it's okay. It was fine. I'm still alive.
You are still alive.
It's fine. It's fine.
But yeah, to find like a more optimistic side of not Viking but Old Norse society, I like to look at Iceland, which was colonized, if you will, by Vikings or Norse people towards the end of the early Middle Ages. But the society that emerged there is one without kings or chieftains.
And they have no mosquitoes.
Probably you might well be onto something there. Is that true?
Yeah, Iceland has no mosquitoes.
Oh, it's too cold.
I'm moving.
It's too cold for mosquitoes to
mosquito
survive.
in my bedroom, like, oh gosh, I hate it.
Well, I mean, Norway is cold too, and they do have mosquitoes.
Why are we making circles?
Oh, I don't know. I wanted to... How puffins, that's what they're called. The game has puffins. That's a very redeeming quality, I find.
Yeah, fair enough.
Which still doesn't explain why I was running in circles, but you know.
I mean, when you're trying to think, you go around in circles. That's what Donald Duck comics
True.
taught
This
me,
was actually a very philosophical move where I was trying to visualize all the conundrums Eivor faces, like how to get through this very great... Oh,
let's go.
Oh, this is the worst part of the entire game.
Is it?
Yes, this is ore mining.
Oh.
Here, I don't know how, but... Oh, hold on. There we go. I am mining ore. Just like the ancients did it. Literally, I am hacking away at a rock outcropping with a battle axe.
You just know they made puffins in the game to hide how bad the rest is, yeah. Correct.
Anyway,
I don't know. Let's go.
Oh, there we go. That's where this.
So the interesting thing about Iceland then is that it's a pretty peaceful society.
Yeah.
Whereas at the same time in Europe, there were these feudal lords fighting each other and oppressing farmers and whatnot. You have a very kind of like peaceful and harmonious society where there's a bunch of guys who come together, to meet every year, the Althing. It's the Icelandic parliament today is still called the Althing. So it has this sort of proto-democratic roots going back into Old Norse Icelandic society. It's a bit trying to not over-romanticize it, obviously, but it shows a more peaceful side, I think, to the society.
No, for sure.
That gets forgotten in popular media.
Okay, so this is the hut of the seer.
This really is not a hut.
No, it's definitely
this
not.
is
But
giant.
they call it Valka's hut, so I guess I'm just rolling with what the games prescribes.
It's really pretty, I mean.
Yeah, I mean...
If that's a hut, then I want to know what a palace looks like.
Yeah, for real. 3 stories.
And also very flammable. Like, what
this
is
thing
she
burns
thinking?
in a
What is
heartbeat.
she thinking? I mean, she's got... Sure.
All right, let's go through this moment.
I need silence to hear the songs of nature. Hamuram. Hamuram. Svala.
Hello.
Hello.
She gives praises and she is greeted.
Okay.
For your hearing I hearken. O ancient ones, great.
And she has dreadlocks, which is...
That's very weird.
Weird, yes. I mean, we can't obviously we can't deny the possibility that people had dreadlocks back in the day.
What brings you so far to see me?
But especially if she has like Eivor's type of hair, dreadlocks are very impractical.
Is your mother well? Her mind is a jumble. She speaks to spirits.
Which is old-timey speak for she's crazy.
But she has me. Now, let her speak to your needs.
What does she have on her hair? Like the metal thing, or like the
veil
ornament,
with the ornament.
the little tugs.
May have been my battle lust or a delirium.
I suppose they're meant to be talismans or something.
Head talismans. Interesting.
I mean, if it looks cool, she's wearing exposed furs again too, so who cares?
Yeah.
There was a wolf howling and fierce.
I feel that it's slightly problematic that the summon in quotes is the one that has the dreadlocks.
Yes, I agree with Dog Random, yeah. But you see that across all popular media that shamans are often kind of controversial figures.
Because they're kind of going for like almost Africanizing.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is a bit problematic.
That's definitely problematic. Also with the neck piece that is like these long necks that you mainly see in Africa, which I don't think this is to my knowledge, not claiming any Viking knowledge, but I don't think that's is that something that we would have, this kind of continuous like neck pieces? That
not that I'm seeing it here as far as I know either, but could be
also, we're going to get high off our asses. So
so.
For all the students in there, don't do drugs.
Have you used this sort of magic before?
It's not magic.
Have no fear. It was not my
It is.
If you understand little enough of it.
Oh, somewhat mystical person. Let's give them some Rastafari hair. Exactly.
For a time.
Rastafari hair and weed. It's like, it's yeah.
She said wearing a coin around her head or something.
Yeah, that is also. She has this weird, almost Japanese.
Yeah, so I was thinking like it's a Chinese coin, but why is it so big and how does it end up? And
I don't. Oh yeah, Chinese.
Or is it a dirham maybe?
I don't know.
Do dirhams have squares in the middle?
Not that I know from that period specifically. This isn't doing drag. It's going on a vision quest. Yeah.
It's not doing drugs if it's productive, you know.
What Jimi Hendrix would say.
Oh, let's go.
Let's go.
It must be very painful to just fall down on your back with a hull of arrows, a dagger, a battle axe, a shield.
You're not exactly falling down on a mattress.
And they force you to walk, which...
Oh, I hate it.
Typical.
No.
Typical, yeah. Do I walk among the dead? You're literally walking, yeah.
Oh, but we do see we get to see some mythology in a couple of gods. They've got We're going to come at a lake with some of the fate goddesses, I guess. The name escapes me for a second, but basically the northern version of the Moire. There we go. What were they called again? They're pretty spooky too.
Is that like the fates that are weaving?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Oh, good question.
This is very nicely done, though. With
it is very cool.
Weights on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
These are actually things that we find. And very well designed.
For some reason, the mythological fictional section is the most historically accurate.
But it's dripping with blood, or am I seeing that wrong?
Yeah, it's
they're weaving fate, so obviously it's dripping with blood.
Yeah, because fate is bloody. Bloody fate. Norns? Are they called Norns?
Norns, yes, they are. Thank you.
Thank J.A.
The Nornir. This is the Nornir.
I like Norns.
Norns. We should get a button for that.
But where are we going?
I'm going to check if I can fall to my death, or if they're going
In the realm of the dead, you want to see if you can die? No.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think you're allowed to go there. There's an invisible wall. Look, it's a mythological thing. It's allowed to have invisible walls.
Come on, I'm in a fantasy realm of endless possibility and
exactly, and one of the possibilities is an invisible wall.
Yeah, and the other possibility is me ignoring the heck out of that physical wall and plummeting to my death.
Not. There is no physical world.
Instead, I'll just wander through this stupid-ass cool portal and see whatever...
Wow. And you see Sigurd screaming.
Oh, no, he's going to be eaten by Fenrir, I think. And Fenrir is going to bite our arm. Oh, his arm, never mind.
Our fates are fixed.
Sure.
Sigurd has no hand, yeah. Is he gonna jump?
Bah.
Oh, that's his hand.
That's not very frugal of you, Fenrir.
Yeah. And that is why they ban selling magic mushrooms.
This was not for you, Javi.
What is not for us? What are you even talking about?
It's... The sad thing is, as much as I want to, with the last two AC games, I just found myself completely uninterested in the main narrative. As cool as the game was, it's just...
Back to Valgasat. Yeah. What a trip. It's gonna be a hangover tomorrow morning.
It's
what
very...
is this turquoise stone that she has? It's very...
What was that?
Yeah, they did lay the symbolism on thick here.
Yeah.
I was on a mountain. In a violent blizzard, climbing toward the summit, following a wall.
You should become a poet, Eivor.
Interpret.
Oh, there we go, the Nornir.
But we didn't see Odin, did we?
No.
Or maybe he was somewhere there, but we just ignored. We just ignored Odin.
I think Odin was there when we ascended the mountain, and there was a wolf and
yes,
a guy with a cape.
Figure. Okay, I didn't notice.
I reckon.
Yeah, because earlier when we were booting up the game, we walked through that mead hall, and there was a similar figure, which was very obviously Odin, accompanied by a wolf. Yeah,
the wolf beckoned.
And the wolf was eager for my attention.
Why do we go through this dialogue again? We literally just saw all of these things.
You are the wolf-kissed, fated to carry its mark for
okay.
life.
I think wolf mold toddler is a more accurate moniker, but sure.
But sure.
Oh, no, yeah. By the last two, I mean Odyssey and Valhalla, yeah. Because I really wanted to love Odyssey, because they did a lot of things right, to be honest, but I just found myself uninterested in the protagonists. And
Javi is a name of Odin.
I do not know what else to say. My memories are faint.
Oh yeah, Javi is also it is, but it's also sort of the pet name Sigurd's been using for Eivor for whatever reason.
Pain. His fighting arm was missing.
I just like Odin in Valheim. Because you could just randomly see Odin in Valheim. Thor as well. We should play some more Valheim again. Then I awoke.
The gods favor you, Eivor.
They do. So far, like Eivor has been messing up a lot.
Yeah.
Your place in Valhalla. But these portents carry a darker truth.
Oh, do they?
The missing arm,
I think the truth they carry mostly is don't do poisonous mushrooms on an empty stomach.
That is the
Yeah.
That cannot be right. I would never betray Sigurd. He's my brother, my family.
Oh, you will. You will.
This is their message.
No, this is wrong, or you misunderstand. That cannot be right.
Spoilers, it is right.
You will betray Sigurd.
Okay then, well, bye.
Can be done.
Yeah, well, we're not Odin.
But we're Odin's chosen.
Yeah, but I feel there is a difference between Odin and Odin's chosen.
Are we Odin's chosen or are we wolf bitten?
Wolf kissed. I'll have you know. And just for tripping on mushrooms, I gained 2 skill points.
Kind of like the narrative of this game, but it is just spun out over too much time with all these minor tales that are mostly unrelated.
And especially when it's level capped, so you have to do all the minor tales. It just gets so scattered across all your... I mean, you'd have to put in like 70 hours of game time to finish this game with just the main storyline, but you also have to do the side quests, or you're not strong enough to, you know...
Yeah, to actually finish the bloody game, so... Alright, where are we going next?
I don't know. Where are we going next?
What's the quest? The next quest plot?
Do we have a map?
We do actually.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. So, family matters. Speak to Gunnar, the blacksmith.
Family matters as in it matters, or matters as in things to do?
We haven't discovered
that is
England
up to
yet,
you to decide.
Wow, it's a play on words.
It's
one
very
could say.
deep.
Yeah, wow, good job, AC. Windy. This game I found was a chop out a good 5-story arcs or something, but when this game is good, it's real good.
True, and it's very pretty.
Way better about it than Odyssey was. Odyssey was boring as all heck.
Sadly, yes, because the historical setting was awesome. And they even painted the statues. Sorry. It's the
At least it wasn't a lion.
Yeah. Animals hate me in this game, even though I love them most ardently.
This scene was similar to the moment Fenrir the wolf bit Tyr's hand when he was betrayed.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. What is this? And am I going to fall off? Probably not. Nah, I got this.
Don't say you got this.
I don't know where I'm...
Why are you going up?
I don't know. Because... I'm heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah, there you go.
Wee ha bonk. Ow.
What?
So where's like the farmland? Where are they growing their veggies?
They don't need those. They can just
plunder them.
The golden berries all day, and their health will regenerate automatically.
Oh, I see.
That's how it works. Come on.
Yeah, there's a fair number of times. Omar just hated this game, so...
Yeah, Omar felt about this game kind of like how Aris felt about the game we
But Omar
played
just
before
doesn't
this one.
like good games.
Don't provoke him, please. Wee. I think I was also walking in circles because it's just fun to see the tracks in the snow.
It is.
Yeah, it's a nice little.
Yeah, Omar, you have been called.
Please don't.
What can I say? You didn't like Hades, so that's like.
Oh no horse, no horse, stay away from me.
Why no horse?
Because I want to walk.
Oh.
It's healthy.
I do want to walk faster though. The horse didn't even come. Jeez.
Have you already obtained the horse?
I think I have. I don't know. It did prompt. It's fine. Oh no, Omar's typing furiously.
Yeah, it's because I talked about Hades. We've streamed our fair share of Hades stream.
Hades is an amazing game.
Exactly.
Even if you don't like the type of game it is, it's an amazing game.
Exactly.
Still need to finish it.
You can see some of our Hades streams on our YouTube channel. If Doc Random would be so kind as to plunk down the Wick van der Classic stream.
Beep. Just me parkouring
The old
across
Norse
the
for
village.
hubris is hroki.
Why would you mention that, Doc Random? Why would you?
Bring
Why
this
do I
up
need
specifically
to know?
to you. I wouldn't know.
Oh, I would. Where are you? Who is it? Who's Holger?
I play City Builders.
When Midgard was young, Asgard was torn by strife.
Sure.
Alright, Holger, just calm
Oh,
down.
here, there we go. So this is why they're not cultivating any crops. It's
Why?
because of the berries.
They all eat berries.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it just automatically regenerates your health when you stash a handful into your mouth, why would you bother trying
There's an
to
oven,
grow?
let's go.
Hey, man.
I guess this is not like a...
Why would you be wearing that when you're smithing? Why? Oh, he also has a beard.
I
See,
stick to my
another
old theory. I stick to my old theory. If you can be a good smith without burning your beard or your pelt, shows your skill.
I don't know. I think it would just be a waste of a good
It has a blunted blade, but it swings
cloak,
well.
even if it's historically inaccurate and attracts a lot of fleas for no reason.
I have one ingot left for the job.
Are you sure?
The fates have willed it so. But in future,
You were not peer pressured into playing Hades.
No, don't. Doc
Oh,
Random,
hubris-
leave me alone.
Hubris has been put up in the chat.
No, why does that
It's the
happen?
context of why
Oh
we
my
needed to know
goodness.
hubris.
Oh yeah, because obviously you just walk around with gold ingots, like massive gold ingots, as you did back in the 8th century.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure you know all about it, Yep. Oh, and it...
I'm actually wondering if we found ingots. What we do find is it's called hacksilver. It's in archaeological jargon. It's silver that's cut to pieces.
Oh, so it's Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Sorry. I love etymology.
So it's often found in hoards, and it's silver that they brought back from raids,
Oh.
cut it into pieces. Might have also played a monetary role. But I'm not so sure about ingots that we have found. I don't think so.
I would not know.
But maybe you wouldn't really put ingots in a hoard.
Why not?
My lady left me, if you have not heard.
Oh, poor guy.
Sorry to hear it. You were together how long?
See, this is some good character writing, unlike what they push onto Eivor's plate. Oh, she was even called Brunhild.
As they once did, Gunnar. Maybe set your sights a bit lower.
Lower? My friend, look at my wares, my weapons. I'm not the man to settle for less than the finest of anything.
Wow.
Yet you wear
Yeah.
a... Oh, it's fine. I'm done here.
I'm done.
I can't have that. Sure, man.
Sure,
Goodbye.
whatever.
Speak to Randvi. Oh. Woohee. Woohoo.
Ingots and weight units in Viking hordes.
Oh.
So anytime I come up with stuff here, I get proofreaders immediately.
They were from 1988.
Hello, Randvi.
Coins, ornaments, ingots, and fragments of ornaments.
Yeah,
and
but that's the
ingots.
thing. I'm not sure if ingots and hack silver, like, if you could consider that ingot, then maybe we're getting into semantics there. Just something for the stream.
I'm ready to face the thunder. I'll speak with the king now.
Yeah, maybe.
Excellent, King Styrbjorn. I will take this proposal to my nephew.
You look weird.
Oh, we're seeing the inside now of the long hall, long
Yep.
house.
The booming floors. Hello. All very flammable again.
This guy has proper haircut. Just
also, I wonder where they get the tapestries from, right? It looks like they have like these Middle Eastern Persian tapestries, or
there is.
carpets, I should say.
They've got, I think, supposedly a Persian merchant who is also canonically hermaphrodite, I think, which is interesting in terms of representation.
Okay.
But they do have some foreign traders in the game, which would explain the tapestries. But using them as carpets like that is a little odd.
Exactly, that's the point. Like, if you would get your hands on like a nice Persian tapestry or whatever, you would
hang them up on the wall. Yeah,
exactly.
What do you think of the throne that he's sitting on?
It's a nice throne. I wonder if it's. They do always look like that in Viking shows, don't they?
What I also dislike a little bit is that they. Obviously, there is also always a warlike element to your character, and you always get shoehorned in taking the aggressive route because you need to incorporate combat into the storyline for it to be a combat RPG. But they pretend this is an RPG when they actually always force you into a single path that involves killing.
Right.
And honestly, I'd rather they just leave out the RPG element, like in the earlier games, and just focus on writing proper characters instead of...
Yeah, so you can choose 3 different ways to end up doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Do we have any allies to speak of, or is that your excuse?
So in the end, we're going to completely burn his honestly very valid point of maybe using diplomacy instead of aggression to the ground so he can go fight stuff.
But yeah, about the throne, I'm not sure. I wonder if they actually had thrones, because it might be a bit of I want to say European concept, but like we know Charlemagne, for instance, is a very famous throne in Aachen. But that is Frankish, right? And I wonder if it's a thing in the Norse world. I don't know, maybe someone in chat knows about this, but it's a particular image of kingship that I think is taken from medieval Europe that's applied in media to the Norse. I'm not sure if that's accurate.
I think from what I've read, and obviously that's not all there is to be known, and obviously I'm not a specialist, but this is not entirely inaccurate in the way that he is positioned in the mead hall and the way he surveys it, basically, and where the throne stands. It's more that I find the throne to look a little strange. For one, because it's so weathered down and poorly kept.
It's very poorly kept.
And for another, because it looks Gothic. Like the architecture from the late Middle Ages.
Right, I might have to give Beowulf another read now, because now I'm wondering if in the mead hall there...
Well, it's strange that there's a door there, but they would put up a throne on an elevated platform with, like, for example, shields or trophies behind it.
Why are we not talking about the mammoth head?
Yeah, I was just about.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Absolutely complete and perfectly preserved mammoth head.
And somehow melted into the wood. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We'll just turn the other way.
You're just not going to look at the mammoth.
No.
From what I remember...
I have a celestial lynx as my mount.
Yeah,
love that.
We have, because we
all
have
the
some
DLC,
stuff.
yeah, we do.
We have all the DLC, and we have, like, proper subscription and everything, and so we get, like, a lot of weird shit.
Oh, there's one boss fight where the guy asks for pity mid-fight and some dialogue options pop up. But before you have time, I'm reading. Have time to consider your options. He pulls a surprise attack on you. I'm sorry about the vertigo. Haha. I've got berserker breeches. I love that. Sounds very Shakespearean.
Yeah.
But probably just because of the word.
Let's just not mention the mammoth in the room. Yeah. I mean, it's a very well designed mammoth head.
Yeah.
I'm sure they found a nice
like, follow, and subscribe, people.
Yeah.
Where am I going? Oh, we need to go to the ship. Whoop. Oopsie daisies.
Cutscene.
Hey, Sigurd.
Hey, you have a hand.
Do you need a hand?
That other random guy was like, bam, get out of my way.
And you, soul-cured Viking. I smell the stink of a dozen kingdoms.
We should change our game category. Oh, we should.
Oh yeah, wait, I'll do it from here.
Did you? Oh, you can.
Yeah, because we're...
Bringing gifts and riches to share.
And new friends, I see.
Also, his fingers are tattooed.
And hide them. We met in Miklagard.
There we go, let's go.
We are grateful to Sigurd.
So according to Wikipedia, Odin did have a high seed, or Hlitskjolf. I know my Old Norse is not that great, I'm sorry.
Must like you.
Oh, these are assassins, by the way. They're still in there.
All right.
We're playing Assassin's Creed, by the way. They are assassins. In fact, you can very clearly see.
It is a very appropriate moment to change the game category.
Yeah, we only now saw the assassins.
Was captured by Kjotve's men. They must have cut the tail short. I killed my captors and recovered my crew. For that, your father scolded me.
Can you walk faster? Walk faster, come on. Walk faster.
But he disagrees.
Look at me running around.
I am a 3-year-old.
Yeah. No, at least Sigurd doesn't have a snake in his eye. Yeah.
Why does it? What? A snake in his eye?
Secret snake in the eye.
Where? I saw berries. Did I already? I think I already got the berries. Oh, no, I
there
didn't.
You go.
Oh,
What if we Google Viking thrones?
My son, welcome home.
Yeah, I really dislike how they all look like Vikings, the series Vikings.
Tonight we feast and celebrate your return, Sigurd. The tables are laid with barley and lamb.
Yeah, I was trying to Google this as well.
But didn't work out very well.
I think probably we're going to have to delve into the history and archaeology of thrones in general before we can come to an answer. But that's one of these.
The Game of Thrones.
One of the things that got me into history and archaeology in the beginning is like when you have these simple things, like you assume it's always there.
Yeah.
Then you start thinking like, is that actually, is that actually something that's always been there? Like a throne is just such a natural concept to us because we're so familiar with it from fairy tales and whatever that we just insert it into everything. Yeah. Even though maybe there's no historical evidence for it. I don't know. Maybe there is, but just hypothetically.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember from Beowulf if it's like, because I think they are sitting like on benches, right? Because they are also sleeping on benches.
Yeah, that's
I don't think the king is sitting. I think he's also sitting on a bench. I don't think he's sitting.
Might have a prime seat on the table or something.
Yeah,
I'm not so
which
sure
could be, but that doesn't necessarily. It looks more like this, right, with the benches.
We took for our troubles, of course. We sailed to Rome, then Africa. Past oceans of sand, warriors of all colors, and beauty the eyes must weep to behold. And now
Why are you going in circles?
I don't know. I'm making a very philosophical point about how Viking life was all about going in circles, avoiding the inevitable.
What are they having for food? Trying to analyze this now.
Apples. Honeycombs.
Honeycombs, that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And bread and an egg.
In this season especially.
Yeah.
Flatbread, meat, more apples, more bread.
Apples,
I like their apples.
They look very red.
I do like how they have regular cups, because in some Viking media it's always the drinking horns.
Yeah, no, but they have actually... Like,
actually.
Oh, there are horns though, by the way. There.
Yeah.
Oh, those are more like... Are those tusks or horns?
They look like horns, I guess.
I'd say so. Yes. I mean,
it
would have to be horns if they're hollowed out.
Yeah, also
but the form is weird. Anyway, oh hey, welcome back. We're being a general menace, and also analyzing the way that is very poorly cooked
there are
meat.
Others to speak with. this quest description, like, there are others to speak with. Okay.
Hey, Randvi.
Hey.
Eivor, have you paid a visit to Valka?
Yep.
Didn't go very well.
It is not something
I mean, I guess it did. Like, the aim was to see stuff, which we did, in high definition.
Yeah. In the drinking game, you're using horns. Yeah.
True. There is a drinking game, and it's obligatory, which I hate, but sure.
Launching drinking culture in the game.
3 winters we are married, and he has been away for 2. Can you not rekindle the flame that once
And it's
burned
also
hot?
just a very stupid game, but that might be me being salty about sucking at it.
Lights.
Oh, boy.
We should all be so lucky.
Lights.
She laughed very awkwardly.
But yeah, look at those rugs. They're eating on it. They must be spilling food like crazy.
And there is food spill, like literally.
How are you going to clean it?
Never. You're just with your tears, probably, about all the money you spent on those. There's straw, and there is what I can only assume to be bathed up beans. No.
And I do have also a very nice floor, and I wonder if that's accurate. You know, rather than just what's the word for that? Just earth, flattened earth.
Yeah, like
again
plaster.
From what I've read, the bigger and the fancier mead halls would have earthen floors with hollowed out underneath. So in Beowulf, you have them mentioning booming floors, because if you would walk on them, you could hear. It like it working like a drum, basically. But again, of course, Beowulf was written down much later than it would have taken place. So
there's people dancing,
what
and having
poetic
fun.
license, etc.
And you have no mead. Can I fix that?
don't peer pressure him into getting drunk.
I suppose they could.
That doesn't. Also, I have to say that doesn't look like a very useful cup.
And how did you come to meet my brother?
He sat down in Constantinople some months ago.
Oh, yeah, this is what I was gonna say. This guy is clearly not.
But I knew other
Oh, he's one of the assassins, of course.
Yeah.
eyes that gleam like his are always up to something more. I think he wished to raid the Hagia Sophia.
Don't raid Hagia Sophia.
I will not bore you.
Please don't. We have Viking graffiti on the Hagia Sophia, right?
Yes. It's very nice. I have been here kind of graffiti.
Yeah.
It's excellent. Recently we made in one of our game jam workshops, we had a group that made a game that contained that graffiti.
Can I dance too? I think you can, right? How do you dance?
I like this guy's dress. No, you can't do anything.
I can torch the place.
Torch
you can, but how do you dance?
I don't know.
I'm just mashing buttons until I either accidentally kill someone or start dancing.
I don't think you can kill anyone here.
Yeah.
What about the lyre that this person is playing?
Oh.
I have a nice little drum.
It looks a little like a guitar.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. They're playing it with a string.
With a string, yeah.
I haven't seen that interpretation before.
Guys, I want to dance. Let me dance.
Alright. Who else is
Look
there?
at those axes. Oh gosh.
The axes?
Yeah.
Giant,
Yeah.
Not sure if we're playing Valhalla or Skyrim here.
Yeah.
Does it matter?
Yes, and you
In
are
them.
Eivor.
I am. I hope this ruckus does not overwhelm you. We tend to drink and talk at equal
Oh,
speed.
he has an apple.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's on purpose.
Of course.
Because of the apple of Eden and
Ooh.
how important that's been for,
But
you know.
always I am with my mentor, Basim.
Okay, hit them.
For what cause?
For being an assassin.
A cause as true as the world is old. But let us leave it at that for now.
I understand. But if you hope to stay tight-lipped for the rest of the night, keep clear of Tekla's meat.
Thank you for the warning. It will not be a problem.
What an accent.
It's better than the accent of the male avatar in Odyssey. Which wasn't bad.
Asko says, I wonder if I can go see the graffiti in the Hagia Sophia.
Yeah. I think it's there in public.
I think it's in display, yeah.
Pretty sure I've seen it. I think it's in one of the little. I think it's in the first story, one of the little side rooms. If I remember it correctly.
Winters here in Fornburg, defending our lands. We might have been rid of Kjotve by now.
Actually, he is being very reasonable, yet he is destined to die.
It is on the first floor. There we go. My memory's right for once.
It only buys us time before our enemy.
You talk like a man with one foot in Helheim.
Wow.
Have you no plan of your own to rid this land of our enemy?
Look at this.
Fall to Sigurd and me.
I do.
And cherries. Is that cherries?
Grapes, I think.
Grapes?
Judging from the leaves.
Oh yeah, right. I don't think it's the season for
It will be done.
grapes with that.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, there's snow everywhere, so surely they've got a Middle Ages edition freezer somewhere.
Yeah. Giant pig as well, like giant flipping pig.
Yep. Oh, and cheese.
And more fire hazard.
Yeah, a lot of fire hazard actually.
It's
basically
horrible.
all fire hazard all day.
Yeah.
No wonder we can't find anything in archaeology. Everything got burned.
But then we would have been finding huge piles of ash.
I guess so.
And discolorations. And
We call that the burnt soil layers, you know?
Yeah.
The dark soil layers, yeah.
Finally, Dr. Sigurd. Look at him.
You have snared my
Blank
curiosity,
stare.
brother. What is it?
Not yet. Drinks first.
Oh.
Oh, you and your
My
drinks.
first night in Fornburg in over 2 winters. It must end with me soaked and wall-eyed, shouting at the shadows of trolls.
And you want me to sail with you on these honey waves?
Yes, you are stuck with me, Dringo. Now drink.
No.
No.
Okay, I guess.
We have no option. Get wrecked. Well, for now
That
we're
is
putting
somehow
you to
the
shame.
most personality-rich moment in the entire game, with that self-important smile that I beat you at drinking, and for the rest it's just.
Forgive me. On your first day back, I should have let you win.
The Norse name for America was Vinland, because supposedly there were a lot of grapes that the first voyage brought back from what? Grapes?
It is good to have you back, Sigurd.
Okay.
Any of you been watching Vinland Saga on Netflix?
No.
Is that
I don't know.
anime?
Yeah, it's an anime that takes place in Viking Age era.
I think it's based on a very renowned manga, actually.
It is, yeah. I actually started reading the manga. I'm not that far in, but it's pretty interesting to have like this Japanese take on the Viking Age. Yeah.
It also has some, from what I've seen, because I haven't watched the series, it has some very strong Earthsea vibes to it. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's
I guess I can see where it comes from, but
You mean Earthsea, those again stories.
But is it any good, the series?
it is. I haven't seen the series yet. I just started reading the manga and then I saw it on Netflix. So, the manga so far I like it. It's very Japanese, but it does for like manga to have a pretty good take, I think.
Hey, we're just becoming assassins.
They've done their
because we got a
research.
blade. It's just such a beautiful blade with the turquoise stone as well.
A thing of beauty.
Of course.
Beautiful craftsmanship.
You would appreciate the Assassin's consistency in rocking the white-red look throughout the ages, yeah.
Than a tool. One we have used for centuries to fight injustice and evil.
Yeah. You wear it and you instantly become an assassin.
This is deeply unorthodox. Our wristblade is a sacred tool.
Calm down, my man.
What matters is the mind of the one who wields it.
Yeah, and you've known this person for how long? This is very Disney of you,
yeah.
Basir. Basim, sorry. Yeah.
To conceal it from your target.
I have no wish to hide this, and I would rather not make the same mistake you two have.
Come again? Oh, that. It's.
What's the mistake?
She thinks that them losing their finger was an accident because they hide the blade underneath their arm rather than on the outside.
But you must learn how to use it effectively.
Do I smell a tutorial coming our way? He says, out in the open, in like the central hub area of the entire settlement.
Hidden blade.
I just want to run.
This clan of yours, has a name.
No, you cannot run.
I can't.
You can only go in circles.
At least they've synced up the walking speed of the main character and the NPC. No, never mind, they haven't.
I hate when games do that, and they do it always.
I look forward to it.
Because this is basically a cutscene, but then you actually have to walk through it.
I'm going to pick some berries. I can't even pick berries!
Press RB to initiate an assassination.
Oh, this is me having to get used to the Xbox controller. Haha. There we go. Boop, boop.
Excellent.
I have not seen a blade so sharp.
Some targets are trickier than others. Keep that in mind before you
Okay.
A decent attempt.
Okay.
Alright, now what?
And
Kill
nothing, I guess. Oh, yay.
Gotta love some tutorial beats in Assassin's Creed.
Oh god, I had to, I thought I had to jump on someone, but okay.
A perfect strike.
Woohoo!
Very nice. What a style, well executed.
Absolutely, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 would do again.
Woohoo! Boom.
The thing is, you go through this tutorial and then basically you never need to assassinate anyone.
Nope. Well, I mean, they did. I think they introduced it in this game, the one-shot assassinations, which means that if you hit a button prompt just right when you sneak up on someone, you can one-shot kill them, regardless of how strong the enemy is.
Yeah.
And that's nice, even if you use it only once.
The fact that the best version of this tutorial was in Black Flag, where you're a guy pretending to be an assassin, demonstrating his non-existent assassin skill to a bunch of Templars.
That was fun. That was genuine fun. But Black Flag is, generally speaking, very fun.
This is interesting that indeed it is in this entire purpose-built training area. Like, why do they even have this area?
Let us leave Eivor to enjoy her gift in peace. Come.
Eivor, let us walk to the docks and take
Walk to the docks. But walk, don't run, wait.
I'm going to sneak. For no good reason. Oh yeah, this is entirely fictional, but they did add in a Viking game, which is fun. You can play it. I think you can also buy physical copies.
Oh. Ancient board games, let's go. We ran an entire project on ancient board games. Here in Leiden.
I do think that given that it is 4 minutes...
3 minutes.
3 minutes at this point. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yep.
We are about to wrap up.
We might want to start wrapping. Shall I go find a cliffhanger?
Go find the cliffhanger, yeah, absolutely.
Does Chess have any final
I still
questions?
can't run, though, which is an issue.
Studying archaeology, I don't know.
Okay, I guess I'll just...
Just cliffhanger from the...
I'll dangle off of the longhouse, because I'm not going to walk up a mountain.
No, let's not do that.
Whee!
Let's go.
Beautiful.
All right. Beautiful. Amazing.
Stellar.
Amazing.
Was it faces?
No, it's live.
Nothing's happening. There we go.
Let's go. All right.
Time to...
Well, I think it's time to wrap up. It's been a lot of fun. Played through a lot of things. A lot of people tuned in, which is great. Thank you all for tuning in and for sticking around for a full 3-hour stream.
Yes. Hope you had fun. Hope you learned something.
Jip, thank you also for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Especially for the full 3 hours and bringing your knowledge to the fore.
Even if you're a deserter from history.
We welcome you to the Archaeology Hands.
Oh, hello, Mackie Assassin 69. I'm afraid you've tuned in right as we're wrapping up.
Oh, so sad.
That's everybody's welcome here.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And sorry to hear you're feeling unwell, Ralph. Yes.
So, to all the archaeology students who have joined, welcome to Leiden Archaeology. And it's amazing to have you there. Some of you, I guess, I will see in the classroom. Others we will see around in the corridors of the faculty. There will be streams on this channel throughout August, of course, maybe not with the frequency that there usually are, but like random days we will just be streaming and doing stuff as well. So feel free to give us a follow, and then you can catch up the rest of the streams.
And we play everything that is even remotely historically related, indeed, like
one way or another.
Things like Hades, but also Doki Doki Ragnarok, I just heard.
We are gonna play Doki Doki Ragnarok. That being said, any other final words? No?
Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing or just following, of course. No obligations there.
Yeah.
Enjoy your weekend.
Enjoy the rest of your summer. Hopefully people going on some nice vacations. Jip, are you going on any vacations?
I'm going to a very exotic place called Flanders.
That's I hear they have waffles there.
Yes, and absolutely gorgeous medieval stuff to visit.
Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing. Sophie, any vacation plans?
I am going to an even more exotic place called North Brabant. Potentially also to Berlin, Glasgow, or Edinburgh, depending on when my sister decides to grace me with her decisive abilities and animo for planning.
Sorry, you're getting timed out. I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in Leiden all summer.
Did you just get back from fieldwork?
I came back from fieldwork and I'm staying in Leiden. So, thank you all very much for being here. It's amazing to have you here. Have fun for the rest of your summer.
Absolutely.
And some of you, I guess, will see you in the chat again. Others will see you in September.
In the classroom.
Cheers, see you around.
Until then, stay happy, stay healthy.
Stay funky.
See you next time. Bye-bye.